Yes.
My one SoundCloud poll. Alrighty, we are live, everybody.
November
All
edition.
right, welcome everybody to episode 3 of Dicecream Sandwich. We have a new setup, a new microphone, thanks to our lovely caretaker Kevin, and
hopefully they can hear you.
yeah, hopefully you can hear me. I can see the microphone is picking up audio, so
Good.
It's at least going to be a little bit nicer. I'm going to maybe play with this a little bit, and we'll just double check and make sure everything is working. But then we will jump right into tonight's episode of Dicecream Sandwich. The one thing is the addition that we have tonight is the addition of a map, and what we may end up doing at some point is might get a third tripod out to be able to see that map, so everybody's able to see what is going on exactly, because it is a little bit tough to see without here. But for now, we're going to go ahead and keep our logo up there, and then switch over to the map if things get a little more fun.
Yeah, we can take one of these cameras and sit over there.
Well, I can also replace the logo and make it my cell phone.
Ah,
And
yeah.
make that one, so we've got a fourth one. So then we're really like Critical Role. But picking up from where we left off last time, the intrepid band of adventurers, finding themselves trapped in the demiplane of Barovia, awakened in the village of Barovia after one night of traveling from the castle where Count Strahd von Zarevich seemingly has taken them from out of their lives and brought them to this demi-plane that he has complete control over. After escaping from the castle successfully, making your way through the forest and encountering a new ally, unfortunately losing one of your party in the process, showing the power
He was never one of us.
of Count Strahd von Zarevich.
He was your oldest friend.
I know.
They're all his oldest friends.
I know.
Making your way through the forest, you manage to encounter a couple of twig blights, successfully dispatch those without taking a single point of damage, without even taking a single hit, because you're all apparently overpowered already at level 1. And made your way through the forest successfully onto the other side into the village of Barovia in the demiplane of Barovia. Once in the village, you managed to meet a series of NPCs, finding that a lot of the people living in the houses didn't really seem to engage properly. People were sitting in the dark, no meals in front of them, but having dinner, so they claimed at least, and a series of very odd lack of humanity, for a better way of putting it. You eventually made your way to the inn, which is where am I doing this? Here's my thing. There we go. The Blood of the Vine Tavern, where you met Ismark Kolyanovich. Ismark being the son of the burgomaster, the essentially town... The burgomaster. Essentially the son of the town leader who you had found had passed away several days previously. Upon seeing and hearing your adventure of escaping the castle and making your way through the forest successfully, he was awestruck and encouraged you to please return to his mansion to escort him and his sister out of the village of Barovia and to a more safe, secure location. Meeting his sister, Irina, you managed to spend the night having an encounter with Strahd von Zarevich during the night, where he came and noticed that you were all there and just seemed to revel in a little bit of pleasure of everybody freaking out inside the room. A rough night of sleep, but come the morning, you eventually made your way with the now dead father up to the cemetery to have a small memorial service. In doing so, you heard screaming coming from underneath the chapel, and the prayer master apparently not paying any attention to it whatsoever. After the funeral, after the burial and the service, you managed to make your way back inside. With that prayer master, uncovered exactly what had happened, that his son had been turned by Strahd and became one of Strahd's vampire spawn. And Doru, his son, now lies locked in the undercavity of the church, forever tormenting his father until someone releases him or kills him. You debated for a while whether or not you should kill him, and then decided not to, because you're level 1, and yeah.
That would have gone very badly.
We're gonna kill him.
Yeah.
That would have gone very
That's
badly.
not up for debate.
There will be a time where that eventually does happen, but for tonight, we continue after you made your way south from the mansion, or from the chapel, I should say, and eventually off to the east, where you're going to be heading out of the town, only to find 2 small children, one boy and one girl, who were standing outside of a surprisingly nice house, unlit just like the rest, but much larger than most, a 3-story house. Upon a brief interaction, a few of them ended up attaching themselves to Allura, and very rapidly you started to realize that the fog that you had seen in different parts of the area so far had started to slowly condense around you, kind of pushing you in, and you had heard very, very cautious tales to stay out of the fog at all costs. Deciding to go into the house to rid this house of an apparent monster in the basement, the children waited out on the porch, and upon stepping inside, the doors closed behind you, the fog continued to creep in, and you found yourselves in the main hallway. Our lovely Triton friend decided to pull a very nice looking sword off the wall, taking a little bit of necrotic damage as a result of doing so. An apparent trap, teaching all of you the valuable lesson of looking for traps. And after successfully pulling the sword off the wall, it is a standard long sword, however a very nice one, jewel encrusted and a golden hilt. You do have that added into your inventory now. And last we left off, you were deciding in what direction you would like to go. So, we've got a room in front of us. So we have a series of doors that are unopened, one closet that has already been opened and rifled through. You have one door to the south, two to the north, and one to the west.
Can I add this, as in we have opened it?
You can, yeah. You can draw on these. You can mark off what you guys have done. It's up to you. This is just a visual thing, so you can see exactly where you are. And here's our music.
Great. Those kids totally hill housed us, you guys.
Yep.
I'll murder those kids.
They are already dead.
Are the kids still in the house?
They were
outside.
They
They
refused
wouldn't
to
come
come
in.
inside with you.
Yeah.
They were just hanging out.
Yeah, they refused to come inside with you, but you decided to step inside just to make sure that you did not get swallowed by the fog.
They are so evil.
Yeah.
I think we made a mistake, but what to do next?
I think we check out the room to the north.
Yeah, I'd say we do one floor before we go
Third
upstairs.
floor,
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a group.
What was that?
Sorry, just kind of. It's been a minute. It feels like it's been 2 weeks. Getting back into it.
Feels like
I
it's
feel
been
like we've been in this house for 2 weeks.
It's been a while.
It's a very big house.
Yeah, I like Dr. Shenanigan's idea of
That
this
you do.
this room over here.
Doctor's orders.
the one to the south.
No, to the north,
Oh, to the
just
north.
beside the
The closet.
closet.
Just beside the closet. All right. So
This one?
Yeah, so here. So this is the front door, or this is the front door?
that's the front door.
This is the front door. Okay.
Exactly. Alrighty. So, trying the door.
Should
We
maybe
checked
me
them
or
for-
Leaf go first, considering we've got quite a defense.
Probably a good
Perhaps.
idea.
Can anyone check for traps? Do you have any abilities that way?
We checked with magic, if I
Skullduggery.
remember correctly.
So a trap check is essentially just an investigation check, looking for traps, unless you have a spell or some kind of item that allows you to identify traps a little more
Okay.
easily.
I have bonuses to investigation. I don't know if anybody else.
I just have a single bonus for investigation.
I'll do it then.
Alrighty. So go ahead and roll a trap check for traps.
17.
17. Door does not appear to be trapped. It is unlocked. It's just a nice set of single door. Handle moves fairly easily.
I'll push the door open without stepping inside to the room, and since I have night vision, I want to just see what's in there.
Okay.
We have our torches with us.
That's true.
You do.
I
You
can
all.
also see into the
You've got
shadows.
a fair number of torches as well. I believe you actually have your dancing lights out as well.
Yeah, I
And
have my
lit
light.
this room's candles and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you're lighting the way as you go, but the rooms so far have been black, at least the several that you've entered into. So the centerpiece of this wood-paneled dining room is a carved mahogany table surrounded by 8 high-backed chairs with sculpted armrests and cushioned seats. A crystal chandelier hangs above the table, which is covered with resplendent silverware and crystalware polished to a dazzling shine. Mounted above the marble fireplace is a mahogany-framed painting of an alpine vale. The wall paneling is covered with elegant images of deer among the trees, and red silk drapes cover the windows, with a tapestry depicting hunting dogs and horse-mounted aristocrats chasing after a wolf, hanging from an iron rod bolted to the south wall.
Is the wallpaper in here like the wallpaper in the main room, where the longer you look at it, the more you can discern?
You're a little bit too far away from it at
Patterns.
this point. You
Okay.
need to step in the room if you'd like to identify that.
Okay. Perhaps one of our tanks should go
I was gonna
first.
say Leaf can wander in there.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
So, stepping into the room.
Yeah. Just Yeah,
nothing
we'll take a
happens.
look around.
It's a very nice room.
Yeah.
So looking around, go ahead and make a perception check. So Leaf successfully does step into the room if any of you would like to.
I'll
join in.
follow.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to move yourselves. It's more so just to
I'll
give you
go
an
as
idea of
well.
where you are.
Perception. That
Perfect.
is a 17.
17. So looking closely, you begin to see twisted faces are carved into the tree trunks on the walls, and wolves are actually lurking among the carved foliage. So it looks like leaves. You actually realize there's like wolf heads and ears.
Yeah. Hey guys, the stuff's in here. It's looking a little spooky, just like the other room. You guys got some weird decoration choices.
And there's no doors.
There's the
Exiting.
one door that exits that you actually realize exits back into the main chamber. So it's the secondary door. Out
Oh, okay. So it's a dining room. Okay.
Correct.
Are there cabinets, drawers?
No cabinets, no hutch. It's just a really nice dining room table with the full place setting. All immaculate. Like, you would expect there to be dust on it in some way, but it just looks flawless.
Are the knives very sharp,
The knives...
or look like they're made from a nice metal of sorts?
Yes.
The knives do appear to be very sharp. It's a full place setting, so you're looking at salad forks, dinner forks,
Okay.
butter knives, and then steak knives as well.
Okay.
So those are there, and they are quite nice.
I would like to pick up
Check
two
for
steak
extra.
knives.
Go ahead.
And
You have 2 steak knives.
Take it from somebody
are they
who
gold
tried
or
to take-
silver or?
They appear to be potentially silver plated, but you're
Okay.
not sure. You need to take a closer look to see if you can discern it.
Okay.
Take it from somebody who took his own sharp thing without looking. Although it do smell delicious.
Is there anything else of note in the room besides the table? And the settings?
Not particularly. It's something. It's a room large enough that you would expect more to be in here, but it's more of just an entertainment hall. It's not something that is really used to store anything.
Anything strange about that tapestry on the wall?
You can make a perception check if you'd like.
So yes.
14.
14? Doesn't appear to. It looks just like a very nice tapestry. It's one that appears to have been done in the visage of someone, but you're not entirely sure who. The faces don't really mean anything to you.
Can we check for any hidden doorways or the like?
Hidden doors? Sure. Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh no.
If it's not in the box, it doesn't count.
Oh.
If you want that rule, that can be a rule. If it bounces out of the box and you roll a natural 20, that sucks, but it's up to you.
I'm gonna go with the box rule.
Alright.
God damn it! Okay, maybe I
So
need
by
the
the
one
high back
different.
boxes.
There
Okay.
we go.
Oh,
19.
20.
20. Looking around the walls, you've started to become a little bit more keen to this, and you kind of put your hands up against the walls, feeling for things, and you don't actually notice anything. The room does not appear to have any secret doors.
I don't think there's anything else of use in this room. I think we should mark it off and continue looking elsewhere.
Do I hear anything in the house that's kind of... Can I kind of pay attention to outside of the room and see if I can kind of like hear
Sure.
anything?
You listen fairly intently, like kind of expecting some kind of odd sound or noises of movement, maybe. You don't hear anything. It's essentially just the slight creaking of the wood of the walls of the house. That appears to be the only sound coming
Okay.
out.
You said there was curtains over the windows?
Yes, there
Can
are
I
curtains
walk
over
up
the
and just
windows.
kind of pull a curtain back and see if I can see outside?
You sure? So you walk up and you pull a curtain aside, and it is just fog.
Okay.
You're able to see a little bit of ways in. You can just barely make out little bits on the ground, but it is just a wall of fog.
Any candles, sconces?
In this room, there are a series of candles, candelabras as well. No sconces.
Okay, I'm gonna light the candelabras.
Okay, awesome. So
Also-
go ahead and lighting around those.
Leave. Rule number 1.
What is room number
Always keep the curtains drawn.
one? Always keep the curtains drawn.
Is what their shirt says. They have a shirt. That's what I'm sorry.
Well, old friend,
Whoa.
it's time to take another room. This room is boring and has nothing of value.
I agree. This room has nothing
Clues,
fun.
gang.
Let's go find a monster that the evil kids want us to kill for some
Or
reason.
let's find the kids and kill them.
I want
Can't
them
go-
outside.
They said
You want to go out to the
No,
demon
I
hole
don't.
outside?
I
don't
do not
either.
want to go to the demon hole.
No.
It's my favorite bar.
That's what we call the
should totally open a bar.
I'm gonna
Oh, the
I'm gonna
dime.
walk over to this door here.
Okay. So that's
Check
the
that
east
door.
door.
Yeah.
Okay. Checking that one.
Oh, that's done.
The handle appears unlocked. No issues. Very similar to the other style of door.
And can I look to see if it's
You
trapped?
certainly can. Make an investigation check.
14.
if the room is
14?
trapped.
Doesn't appear to be trapped.
Cool.
Let's tally ho
Door open.
forward.
Yes.
Alrighty. So, stepping through this room, you see a very tidy kitchen. Dishware, cookware, utensils placed neatly on shelves. A work table is a cutting board and a rolling pin up atop it. A stone dome-shaped oven stands near the east wall. Bent iron stovepipe connecting to a hole in the ceiling. Behind the stove and to the left is a thin door leading to a well-stocked pantry full of fresh vegetables, bread, assorted fruits and nuts. And in the southwest corner of the room, you see a small door. And that's that little tiny little black spot there.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
And this is the pantry.
correct.
Okay.
Candles?
In this room, no candles, wall sconces with
Okay.
torches.
Lighten up.
Yeah, go for it.
Is there?
Oops, sorry. I was just gonna say I'm just like a follower in. So I just want to see if is the food all fairly fresh? Like none of it's rotting. It's all like.
Looking at it, it appears to be fairly fresh. And surprisingly, you can taste it if you'd like.
I shall not taste it.
No. Leaf. You was it you that was able to do kind of like see if things are magical?
Well, I can really only do that once every few hours. So
Right.
I just
Okay.
wanna take
Okay.
A little break.
Yeah. No, I think that we should save that.
I think
I
we
got a
should.
little excited there when you showed up.
I think we should maybe leave the food. It seems a little
Yeah. I
untrustworthy.
don't trust this food.
This
I was
whole
just
this whole situation is
wondering if anyone
untrustworthy.
had was able to see if it had any sort of magical properties or anything. Okay.
When you're in a strange land.
Deals in people, not food.
Yeah. Eating food can hold you in places you don't want to be.
Yeah, you're telling
Let's-
me.
It's true.
We're supposed to be looking in the basement, right? That's where they said the kid
We should probably check that
They
little
did
baby
say
door
the
then.
monster was in the basement, and quite frankly, I haven't killed anything in quite some time, so
You can go first through the tiny door then.
I will.
Oh boy.
Alrighty. Behind
Don't
the door,
you challenge a Triton, he'll just go right for it.
behind the door is something that you don't know what it is. The rest of you, it's a dumbwaiter.
Wait. Everyone, there's a very, very tiny elevator. I think a small man lives in this house.
A 2-foot wide stone shaft containing a wooden elevator box attached to a simple rope and pulley mechanism that must be operated manually. Hanging on the wall next to the dumbwaiter is a tiny brass bell attached by wires running into the ceiling.
And if Hill House has taught me anything, it's don't go inside the dumbwaiter.
I think perhaps we've exhausted this room.
I don't even
If
think
we're not
I
going
can
to take
fit
food.
like
What fits in here?
What if we
A child?
I don't even think I can
What
go
if
Those
we
children
put
we're
some
going to
of the
murder later.
food into the
They do have the
dumbwaiter
coke.
and
They
then
do.
send it upstairs
Oh.
just to fuck shit up?
Wait, you want to send the tiny person elevator upstairs?
I mean, it's an idea.
We could also check what upstairs is before we start putting things into it.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Not to be the voice of reason for some dumb reason.
Is there
I think
is there
I
any
heard Doc.
is there anything in this room that indicates that there was anything here, like a monster, or anything shifting or tracks or rummaging of anything?
Make a perception check.
Oh fuck yes. 18.
18. With your modifier?
Oh shit. 20.
20.
That's right.
No.
Damn it.
No, it's a very clean kitchen. Like, surprisingly clean. Like, a chef would be proud if their kitchen looked this good. We're talking a Monica Geller kitchen here.
Or a kitchen
That's
where
our
Good
conscious
reference.
needs.
So we're in like a show house right now. Like,
I was
So
gonna
far,
say.
it appears so. Like, everything is very nicely well done. There's no dust anywhere. The only downside is the lighting is not great.
Does
I
it
think
look
we
like
check out
anyone
the room.
actually even cooks or eats in here.
It's a kitchen that would be used very successfully. All of the food can be put together into very nice dishes. You notice there's a ton of vegetables, of fruit, being able to make all kinds of different things with it. It just doesn't look like it's been used in some time, or if it has, whoever cleaned it did the best job that you've ever seen.
Is there anything maybe of silver in the kitchen?
Make a perception check.
Perception. 16.
16. Looking around, there's a few knives and forks that maybe, silverware, but nothing of any substantial size. It's more utilitarian than anything. The silverware would be what would be going onto the dining room table, and most of it has already been taken out there.
Okay. I'm just gonna pocket one of the silver knives.
Right.
The knives that make her silver.
So it is a silver-plated knife.
Silver-plated knife.
Yeah.
Alright, is there another room with someone
Yeah,
to
I'm
check
gonna
for?
Go back into the main hall, and
Okay.
that's all of the.
There's that one.
Oh,
other
there's
room
this guy.
Yeah,
This one here.
check that
Okay.
So along the bottom, this oak-paneled room looks like a hunter's den, with a stag's head mounted above the fireplace, 3 stuffed wolves positioned around the outskirts of the room. 2 padded chairs draped in animal furs face the hearth, with an oak table between them supporting a cask of wine, 2 carved wooden goblets, a pipe rack, and a candelabra. A crystal drop chandelier hangs above a cloth-covered table surrounded by 4 ornate wooden chairs, each adorned with dark red upholstery and intricate carvings of animal hunting scenes on the back. 2 cabinets stand upright against the walls, both closed, and you can see a small lock on one of the 2.
What's in that room?
It looks like a hunter lives here. A man that hunts.
Nice.
Yes.
Or a woman that
Can I?
Or a non-binary being, or
Exactly.
any, regardless of any gender.
Can I go into the room and check if I see any traps on the cabinet with the lock on
You
it?
certainly can. Make an investigation check.
Not bad, not bad.
14?
14. Doesn't appear to be locked. It looks like a fairly simple standard iron lock. Just a key tumbler.
Right, but no traps.
But
I
no
was
traps.
looking specifically for traps.
Yep, but
okay.
no traps.
Can I do the same thing on the second unlocked door?
Sure. I'll use the same check. It appears to be untrapped as well.
Okay. I would like to open the unlocked door first.
Okay. So, the unlocked one, inside you see a small box. Closed.
What does the box look like? Does it look like ornate? Is it?
It looks somewhat ornate. It's a carved wooden box.
Okay.
You've got a fairly large depiction of a wolf on the top of the box. And it essentially looks just like a fairly nice maybe jewelry box of some kind or cigar box. You're not quite sure, but one of the two maybe.
Homeboy's got a theme.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow her into this room.
You are inside the room.
Me as
Also
well.
following.
Yeah.
You are all
Can I-
in the room.
Also, ask Allura to mark the map for the doors we've been in.
Oh yes, I can. We've been in that one. We've been in that one. We've been in that one. That one, and then this is the front door.
Is there anything on the table?
I think there was a candelabra.
Just candelabra.
Candelabra.
The wood goblets.
Wine. Yeah.
Yeah, so, sorry, it's a candelabra, a cask of wine,
Yeah.
2 carved wooden goblets, and a pipe rack.
Okay, I'm lighting anything that can be lit.
Okay, you successfully light all of the candles in the room.
I am going to leave the box there for now, and then I'm going to try to pick the other lock.
Okay, go ahead and make a Thieves' Tools check. So this is D20, add your dexterity, and add your proficiency bonus because you are proficient with Thieves' Tools.
Oh, that was almost a 1. So, my dexterity bonus?
Yep,
And then what else did you say?
proficiency bonus.
24?
20. So you rolled a 19?
Yes.
Nice.
It was almost a 1. It was
almost.
very, very close to
So,
a 1.
So
Like,
kinda
I was just like,
putting your picks in. You're expecting it's a fairly small lock. You've seen these ones; they're not complicated overall, and you kind of just jiggle with, and it's open.
okay. Okay.
So opening the cabinet,
This
You
one.
checked for traps
Okay,
already,
yeah,
so yeah.
I am.
opening the cabinet, you find a heavy crossbow, a light crossbow, a hand crossbow, and 20 bolts for each weapon.
Ooh.
I would like
Appears to be the hunting closet.
I have a short crossbow. Are any of these very special? Does it look like they are like?
They're very
really...
ornately designed, very nice pieces.
And I love
Can we
You
check
do.
for traps
I
on
You
the
of all
weapons?
people would
that.
appreciate that. Check for traps on the weapons? Sure. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
And as this is happening, Les Paul is admiring the banister and is just lightly going up the stairs on his own.
Okay. So it's a red marble banister and stairs. So very, very nice. Again, dark red color. So you start to make your way up. No ill effect.
I sadly got a 7, so I can't
7.
check for Allura.
No, those are not trapped. You are definitively sure of that. You tell everyone in the room these are untrapped, and you grab one, and it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
I would like to take the heavy crossbow because I'm proficient with it. I can use that, right?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
It's I just don't believe you get your sneak attack with it. You might. I'm not sure. There might be a restriction there, but I'm not.
Okay,
100%
well,
sure.
I would like to switch out my hand crossbow.
Yep.
And then also take so I'll leave my old.
So you have a light crossbow.
Yeah.
And you're putting it in and taking the heavy crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
What are the stats on on crossbows?
If you pass me that, I'll tell you exactly what it is.
And I'd like to also take the bolts.
Sure. Yeah, so it's 20 bolts for each. So the heavy crossbow and the light crossbow use similar bolts, but you would be able to have 20 heavy crossbow bolts as well. Push my background. We're going
Sneak attack works on a finesse or
I might want the light crossbow. We'll see.
finesse or ranged. Yeah,
I have
so you'll
good
be fine.
ranged.
Yeah. Sorry, and I apologize. I had a short bow, not a hand.
Okay, so you put your short bow in. Okay, so this is a big difference for you actually. So short bow was 1d6 piercing damage.
Okay.
A heavy crossbow. So there are a few things here though, a few restrictions. So first off, it's 18 pounds.
Whoa.
So it's a heavy weapon.
Okay.
But it deals 1d10 piercing damage instead of 1d6. So it's a big change there.
That go pin some motherfucker in the wall.
You're accurate at a range of 100 feet.
Okay.
Inaccurate at 400. So this is a heavy weapon, and being a heavy weapon,
Do I lose?
Will that not fuck
you are not a small creature, so that's fine. It is a two-handed weapon, so same as your bow, so no changes there.
Okay.
The only thing is that with crossbows, those are what are referred to as loading weapons. So loading weapons are, because of the time required to load the weapon, you can only fire one piece of ammo when you use an action. So as a rogue at higher levels, you'll end up getting extra attack, which lets you take the attack action but attack twice. With this, you will only ever be able to attack once, just because of how long it takes to crank it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the one limitation. You'll do a lot more damage in that one shot.
Right.
But when you go into higher levels and you want to be able to make multiple attacks, this
Okay.
won't be able to do that. Just so you're aware.
Right.
But that's not until level 5. So
Can I take both of them, or the hand one instead?
The hand
or-
crossbow, yeah, you could take that as well.
Cause that I can shoot twice, right?
The hand crossbow, I believe, is actually the same issue. Hand crossbow.
Critical
it's
Role
still,
gets this very wrong. then.
Yeah, it's still a loading weapon.
Cause not goes.
Well,
pew! Pew!
but that's different. So what not does is its action, bonus action, are two separate attacks.
Okay.
The crossbow that she ended up getting was one that when it natural 20s automatically shoots another bolt. So it's kind of like an auto-loading thing.
Well, I'll pick them both up for now, and
Okay.
then
The hand crossbow is only 3 pounds. You can hang it on your belt. It's pretty small.
okay.
So you've swapped out. So there is now a short bow and a light crossbow in there if anybody would like to pick up either
Interested
of
in
those.
the light crossbow, depending on what the stats are. 'Cause I already
Stats
have
are
a
it's
longbow.
1d8 piercing.
Okay, well I
Just
have
gonna
a same as my
lean.
longbow.
Yes,
that's
So
fine.
the difference there is with your longbow is it's not loading, so you can fire multiple shots, and the range is better. The crossbow's range is only 80. Your range is 150.
I will stick with my longbow.
Are you stealthily trying to go up the stairs? Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Okay, because I just want to see if I pass with perception.
Yeah, this is what I'm checking for right now. Make a stealth check for me, please.
11, 12.
12. Your passive
Okay,
is
14. So
14?
I'm.
So you, Kaylee, you, oh my god, Elite, Allura, and Hope, and Okay, everyone knows you're going upstairs. Their passive perceptions are all 12. They meet or beat.
Well,
your...
I'm not trying to like. Sneak
No, I know,
upstairs.
but,
I'm just
but
like quietly.
you're
going
essentially trying to quietly go up, and then even though it's marble,
It's like the little fishy flips are going.
yeah, exactly.
Squeaky stairs.
Squeaky stairs. And so all of you hear the footsteps of going upstairs, especially Allura and.
Should we
Leaf.
check on him?
Sorry, especially Leaf
yeah.
and.
Is there anything anyone
Leaf.
else needs in this room, or should we continue on? Try and find.
I just want to point out how the carving matches the embroidery on my jacket, you guys.
That's pretty cool.
I'm now on the second floor.
You're on the second floor?
Yes.
Okay. So, having made your way to the second floor, you come to this one here. So, flip it over. Yeah, flip it around. There we go. No, around. There we go.
There's nothing.
So, top of the stairs.
Endless void.
Interesting with
No,
the
is the other side. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So you see two sets of double doors
Oh,
on the second floor.
I will also.
I'm going up too.
Yeah.
Okay, so hearing this, you all rather quickly kind of realize we should probably go upstairs. So
I'm an inquisitive Triton.
So just to check, we're leaving behind.
Harry and the Hendersons over
you took
here is gonna
the
cause
bolts
some
for the
trouble.
hand crossbow as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we're leaving behind a light crossbow and a short bow, correct?
Oh, I was gonna take the light crossbow over the heavy.
Oh, you took the light over the heavy?
Which, I'm just curious which.
Heavy is.
I was gonna grab both of them
The
and
whole
then
thing
figure out
is-
which one I wanted.
Yeah, so the whole thing is the heavy crossbow deals more damage,
human
has exactly
society.
the same negatives, and has a longer
Chaotic
range.
neutral deity elf.
There's no reason to take a light
Okay.
crossbow over a heavy
Okay,
one,
yeah,
unless,
I will.
unless it's
To figure
flavor
out
wise. Like
how
you
humans
feel like
react
your frame, you
to
really
other-
only want to use
other
this. You
things
wouldn't
that
be
weren't
like,
exactly human.
"Brrr, I'm the
Ow.
big thing.
Yeah, no, I
pulling
mean
the
if
big
it's
thing.
if it's pretty and it
Elf,
matches
there
my
we go.
What's your
outfit.
strength score, by the way?
Very
It's
calm
not
and
super
soothing
high.
to your human
higher than
compatriots.
8?
They might
This
treat
dude's
you.
really
no
good.
Yeah,
offense,
everything's higher than
and then
8. I got a
it's
9.
inherent
Okay,
opposites.
so yeah, you're okay. You don't notice.
Okay.
it.
I would like to take both of them because I can.
Oh, we just take her.
Take
chill.
the heavy
The light
crossbow
and
and
the
the light.
heavy.
Okay, so
Can I set it
Allura,
down
I
the
don't
back?
mean to be
it's
this
a
guy.
little bit tough. You kind of can, but you would have to leave your short bow.
Non-snap action.
You would
Allura,
only be able to carry carry 2 unused. The hand crossbow can be on your hip,
Okay.
but someone else would need to carry the other ranged weapon if you wanted to.
Allura,
carry
it's your
the-
friend the doctor.
Yes.
As you may or may not recall, I tried to sell a crossbow and no one cared.
Was it ornately carved though?
If it was a crossbow, I stole off the body of that other guy that was here.
Right.
And I mean, think about the fact that they might know where you're coming from in town.
Oh, that's true.
They're gonna recognize the mark of this family.
What are you
yeah, I'll
squabbling
just take
about
the.
down there?
I'll just take the heavy crossbow then,
you
and
got
I'll
the heavy,
keep my
and you-
keep my
Oh,
short
stop
bow.
kicking down
Okay.
doors.
Okay.
And then you got you do have the hand
Take
crossbow.
police on the stairs.
Oh, okay, I can take all 3.
The hand crossbow is small, right? It only is a hand thing. It can be
Oh,
attached to your belt.
territory.
The other ones you would have to be strapping to your back.
Okay.
So realistically, you'd be like carrying 3 bows and toppling over backwards.
Right. Okay.
So you'd be able to have the heavy crossbow on your back, the hand crossbow on your side, and the short bow kind of like around your shoulder a little bit.
Oh, so I have all. of them.
Yeah, you just wouldn't be able to have the light crossbow. That's the one
Right.
you have to
Terrible.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
has everyone caught up to me, or are they just approaching the stairs?
We're all.
They're
We're
all
upstairs.
getting upstairs. You're kind of very what you feel like sneakily going up the stairs, and then
No,
they
I'm
just,
already on the stairs.
People
no, I know
walk
that's
past
sorry
you.
up the stairs, and then they all just kind of
So I see the first door,
you see 2 doors, one on your left and one on your right.
the one on my left.
Yes,
I look at it
you look
and
at it.
just kick it open,
Okay, so the door on your left.
which is this room.
No, it's
So
No,
you're
there's
walking
that
into
one.
the room. So on your left, it would be
guy, south.
on your side of the room,
Oh,
not
so
Amanda's.
this guy, yeah?
Yeah, that's left.
So now you've migrated up. So that's the door on your
We're
left.
all just like perched around like Scooby-Doo. So
yeah.
You're just like, what's he gonna do, you guys?
Okay.
I'll
So
call this one
hang on.
cannon fodder.
So I'm gonna do this.
We're
First.
gonna open the door with the king go, ah!
Ascending to the top of the spiral
Lord.
stairs first, you see unlit oil lamps mounted on the walls of this elegant hall. Hanging above the mantelpiece is a wood-framed portrait of a family, a man and wife, and 2 smiling children that you recognize. Cradled in the father's arms is a swaddled baby, which the mother seems to regard with a hint of scorn.
Sorry, can you describe what the...
Standing suits
Yeah,
of armor
babies.
also flank wooden doors carved with carved with young men and women dancing in the east and west walls. So those two doors there. Each suit of armor clutches a spear and has a visored helm shaped like a wolf's head.
Lighting lamps.
Okay.
Wait.
So there's oil lamps. So
There's
2 sets of double doors, 2 sets of armor on beside both of those doors.
right.
I'm just gonna put
and sorry,
two
do you
X's
mind,
for the armor.
Lee's just gonna say, or I'll take a closer look at what the father in particular looks like.
Sure.
Okay.
It looks like a fairly well-to-do man.
Okay.
A little bit of scarring around his neck, you notice, but otherwise fairly fair face.
Wonder why that is.
Yeah, and he's holding the baby and seems to be holding it quite close, kind of away from his wife. And the children actually, neither of the parents are touching the kids. They're just kind of standing in front of their parents, seemingly almost being disregarded entirely.
Do the children look like the children that we saw outside?
Funnily enough, they do. Yeah.
Good to check.
Yeah, they look actually identical to the kids that you saw outside, like as if they had been pulled out of the portrait and dropped on the porch.
Oh, like
What else
Like
is
same
that?
clothes and
Same
everything.
clothes, same everything.
What else is in the room again?
The unlit oil lamps,
Yeah,
the
which are lit now.
four suits of
Yeah,
armor,
we're lit
which
now.
are lit now. The 4 suits of armor and the 2 doors, and then another staircase going further
Did
up.
you say that
Oh, further up,
armors
okay,
had
yeah.
spears? Sorry.
Sorry?
Did you say the armor also they were all holding spears?
The armor, each suit of armor clutches a spear and has a visored helm shaped like a wolf's head.
Pretty sick.
Okay.
That's dope.
That's
Can
pretty,
I
as a human
investigate
say, that's
the
pretty
closest on the left
Sure.
Right.
It's pretty nuts.
suit of armor?
Yeah, go and make an
Say-
investigation check.
Say it like that.
That is what they say. That's how they say it, old friend.
Again, I'm
10.
10. Okay. It's a fairly nice suit of armor. It appears more decorative than actually functional, like where certain pieces would actually normally have gaps to be able to allow movement. This is just solid, like it was designed to just be a prop placed up against walls.
Right,
They don't
okay.
appear like they would actually be functionally useful. You would need to hack off bits of the armor. to be
Right.
able to wear them.
I was more looking for like, is this trapped in any way?
Oh,
Is this going
it
to
doesn't
spring
appear
to
trapped.
life?
It doesn't
is
appear
this,
trapped. No.
And you said they had
Spears in one hand.
wolf faces.
And yeah, it's a visored helm that's kind of carved into the visage of a wolf.
Any crests on them?
No crests. Yeah.
Is the spear possibly silver plated?
It doesn't appear to be. It looks like it's just a standard iron spear.
Well, friends, I think we check another room.
Where
Right
did-
or left, friends?
I
Where
think
did
we.
this
I
Paul-
have.
this
You
Paul
forgot.
went into a room.
You forgot about me bashing down.
Yeah, no, I know. So this is now bashing down the door.
Great.
So,
Right.
bashing down the door.
So I'm like staring at the paintings.
Gossamer
Shooting
drapes
going
cover the
nuts.
windows of this elegantly appointed hall with a brass-plated chandelier hanging from the ceiling, upholstered chairs lining the walls, and a stained glass wall hanging depicting beautiful men, women, and children singing and playing instruments. A harpsichord with a bench rests in the northwest corner, near the fireplace that is a large standing harp. Alabaster figurines of well-dressed dancers also adorn the mantelpiece.
I will again look around the room to see if there's any signs of any persons or things that may have been here recently.
Make a perception check.
I guess, well, yeah, if he's blown open the door, I'll follow in. Just
I'll
kind
do
of
the same.
take a general look around.
It'd be funny because you guys are just coming up to the stairs. You just hear, "Ha!"
Yeah.
Having walked past everything, suits of armor, screw that door, boom.
Actually, yeah, hearing that, I'll probably wondering, you all right in there?
I'm fine. I just like to do things with a bit more flair.
Lighting candles and lamps along the way.
Successfully.
That
done.
is a 13.
13. It again looks fairly unused. All the rooms so far seem to be very, very nice, very well presented, well outfitted. The entire house is quite an upstanding family, but just no movement, no dirt on any of the carpets, no footprints anywhere, no fingerprints anywhere, no dust anywhere. The one thing that you do notice is that the figurines that are on the mantelpiece, you kind of assume that those were dancing figurines. You actually realize that those appear to be figurines of skeletons.
Oh, cool. It's bizarre.
Yeah, so they're just like little small figurines, about the size of, they would fit in your palm or so, but there was about 10 or 15 of them on the mantelpiece, and upon closer inspection you realize that they've actually been carved out to resemble skeletons.
I'm going to take one of those. Or well, first I'm going to check. Can I check?
Very
for traps?
well-dressed skeletons.
Can I check for traps to see if anything would happen
While
if I took them?
Well,
Check for traps to see if anything would happen.
Yeah, so looking around the room, make an investigation check. 4. There's nothing really in the room that could be trapped, per se. Like, you kind of crawl into the hearth of the fireplace and look up the chimney, and that's about the only thing you can really think of.
So I'm gonna take one of the figurines.
Yeah, and just pluck it
And
right
I'm
off.
gonna, and after like I've made my commotion, everyone's come upstairs.
Yeah.
Gonna leave the room.
Okay.
Come up and be like, all right, I might not come to the surface world a lot, but when someone says there's a monster in your house and everything is perfectly clean and there's little tiny skeleton people, I think that might be bad.
Is there wood in the fireplace?
There's not.
Okay.
Does anyone else think this is strange? Is this normal human things?
This is a strange
Are surface
circumstance.
monsters
Strange
different than
house.
water monsters? Because
No,
they're
this
very
is-
thrashy.
Yeah. Well, I can't help but notice the tapestries. They present, idyllic scenes, but under the shiny veneer, there is scary and oftentimes disturbing imagery. I can't help but see the parallel between this house.
Do you write books?
No,
I've only read one.
Well,
but I feel
friends,
like you would do very well at books.
Let's leave this awful room
There's
where
also
there's nothing to
An
take.
obsession of wolves. Hunting them and becoming them.
That's true. Those
The beast
wolves-
within.
Yes.
I wonder if it's something to do with Strahd, or maybe is it his enemy perhaps?
Strahd
Like
calls to
something-
wolves.
Oh yes.
He has wolf servants.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to look at the little skeletons and just sort of see what they're made out of without touching them. Just
Sure.
look closer.
They appear to be made out of white marble.
White marble. Okay.
I would like to go across the
So
way, and I'd like to stand and kind of see
there
if I
is
can
also
hear any-
another door you can see just right
Yeah.
at the top of the stairs. That is.
Yeah, and then
Check
there's.
that one.
And then there's the
I'm
double
gonna go
doors
and
there
stand
as
at the other big doors, like the big wood ones. I'm gonna stand there and just see if I can hear anything in the opposite
well.
room.
Perception check.
20.
20.
20.
Putting your ear up against the door, you hear a little bit of creaking of wood. Just the general commotion of the other people behind you. Doesn't appear to be anything on the other side.
Do you need a trident foot?
No, I was just seeing what I could see.
Alright.
What doors do everyone want? What's
I think
next?
we should check this door that's over top of where the kitchen and pantry is. I want to see what that dumbwaiter leads to.
This one?
Okay.
Or this one?
The little dumbwaiter.
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
Right. Are you opting shenanigans?
Or would you rather I could go through first if you'd like?
Yes. Let's have someone strong go through.
There we go.
Yes.
Alrighty.
He's
Alrighty. So, stepping through the door, an undecorated bedroom, a pair of beds, straw-stuffed mattresses. This is kind of the first real room that you've seen that doesn't speak of elegance. At the foot of each bed is an empty footlocker, open, and there is a small door as well, very similar to the closet door that you saw downstairs.
Can we check for anything to light? Any candles? Is there any
In
sconces?
this room, there's actually nothing. It's just a darkened room. Yeah, it appears this one
Hot tomato.
doesn't quite have the same
Oh,
the same frou-frou-ness as the other rooms so far.
I'd like to
How
check
many,
the closet.
Can I ask you to bring in your lights, please?
Yes.
So bringing
Some of
lights
my
into the room,
cantrips.
checking the closet.
Check in the closet.
Okay, so opening the closet, you see tidy uniforms hanging from hooks in the closet as well. And they appear to be maybe servants' uniforms. Yeah.
Do they look at all similar to what we were wearing when we woke up?
They do not.
Okay.
No, they look substantially nicer than what you were wearing when you woke up.
Yes.
Not a single sheet of white
Yeah.
cloth.
I don't know what kind of people you're
Sure, I've been moving.
Fair enough.
This is odd. Usually, from my experience, the servants tend to be in far below, rather than on the second floor.
Also, where does that dumbwaiter lead to?
So the dumbwaiter is actually in this room as well.
Okay.
You can see that there is a very small door, and it's kind of opposite. There's has just a little tiny
Oh,
marker
that's the
right
little,
there.
that little guy right
Yeah,
there.
that little tiny marker there indicates
Does this look like
that there is
Oh, okay.
another dumbwaiter there. And opening the door, you see that it is the same dumbwaiter elevator pulley system, and the ropes are currently obviously so that the dumbwaiter is on the ground floor.
Okay.
But the one thing that you do see is that there was a button on the right hand side with a single wire running out of it.
Oh, okay. This room bores me.
I think this is probably the kids' room.
I was wondering that myself. How many beds are in this room?
There was
There's two.
There's two beds. They're
Two
straw
beds.
filled.
And judging by the tapestry, where the kids are kind of disregarded, I wonder if having left just a plain straw bed for them is likely how they were treated.
I think we hit up that last room on this floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Happy to help out there.
So going into the other room.
Yep.
Just okay.
I can lead that.
So, stepping through, red velvet drapes cover the windows along the far wall from where you enter. Across the room, an exquisite mahogany desk and a matching high-back chair face the entrance and the fireplace, above which hangs a framed picture of a windmill perched atop a rocky crag. In the corners of the room are two overstuffed chairs with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves lining the south wall, and a rolling wooden ladder propped against the bookshelves, allowing access to the higher shelves. On the desk is an oil lamp, a jar of ink, a quill pen, a tinderbox, and a letter kit containing a red wax candle and a series of sheets of blank parchment and a wooden seal.
Is the seal the same one that was the windmill in the other room down
It
below?
does appear to be the same seal, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Stepping
I
around to
think
the
that-
other side of the desk, you also see that there is one large drawer across the width of the chest.
Okay. I want to take a quick look at the books
desk.
on the shelves, see if anything jumps out. Like,
Sure.
what are the books like?
So the bookshelves hold hundreds of tomes. They're looking at the spines. There are actually no indications of any kind as to what they are. So
Okay.
pulling books out, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'll pull a book out.
Okay, so pulling a book out, you kind of leaf through it a little bit, and you recognize history. Pulling out another one of warfare, another one of alchemy. There's also several shelves containing first edition collected works of poetry, fiction. Like, this is a very nice, almost curated collection.
I'd like to look in the desk, but I'll check first to see if I can see if there's anything suspicious or
Sure, go ahead and make an
trappy about it.
investigation check. Yeah. Anything trappy about it?
Anything trappy? 21.
21. Does not appear to be trapped. The drawer pulls quite easily.
Okay. And I'd like to look through the drawer and also check to see if there's any hidden panels below.
Sure. So opening the drawer, you're kind of feeling along the inside. You do find there's a large iron key in there. That seems to be the one thing that's inside this drawer. And you kind of run your hands along, and actually you can pull the entire drawer out, and it appears to just be a cut and fit sheet of wood.
Take the key.
Alrighty, so you have
Also,
a
everything's
large
just
iron
being
key.
lit.
Yep,
Candles,
all the
lit
lamps. From this point on, so far it's been oil lamps.
Yep.
So I'll just make the assumption that you light everything unless
Yep.
you say otherwise.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Lighten everything.
Alrighty, so so you've got the lamp that's lit, you've got a jar of ink, a quill pen, tinderbox, the letter kit, so you've got the candle, the windmill insignia. Anybody else want to take anything else?
Can I take the tinderbox?
Sure. So you have a tinderbox as well.
I'd like to take the seal.
The seal? Sure. So you've
So
got
I see-
the red, so you want to take the wax with it as
The
well?
wax as well, and then the windmill seal.
Perfect, so you've got those as well. Go ahead
And
and
sorry,
write those down.
say again what's kind of on the desk.
So you've got all the books. You've got an oil lamp, a jar of ink, a quill pen, and currently 4 blank sheets of parchment after taking the
Okay.
insignia and the wax.
I'm not really interested in.
I'm not taking anything. Thank you.
Okay. So, also looking through the bookshelves, I need you to make a perception check for me, please.
15.
15. You notice that there is, as you're kind of combing through, you've realized that where you originally started, a lot of the books had no notation on the spine at all. Making your way around, they started to gain a little bit of notation, like
Okay.
these ones were kind of nicer. But you do notice that there's one kind of dark red book that has, again, no notation on the spine. It's the one in a specific area. And going up to it, you're kind of curious. You
Thank you.
actually touch it, and you realize that the
Cheers.
spine is made of wood, and the pages are made of wood. And so it appears to just be a fake book.
Oh.
I wonder what would happen.
I'm going to tell the party about this fake book.
Okay.
This fake book that might contain people in it. Faces.
Or be a latch to a secret door.
Mm-hmm.
or have something inside it.
I don't have an investigation that's any good, but I'm gonna take a look anyway.
Okay, go for it. Make an investigation check. Looking for traps, I'm guessing.
Yeah, 10.
Sure. Does not appear to be trapped. You kind of play around with it a little bit. You can actually hear just a very slight click, 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 like it's releasing some kind of a mechanism. And then you just kind of out of curiosity, you actually just pull it down completely, and you actually have the entire bookshelf rotate inward and reveal a secret room on the other side.
Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Secret room.
Secret room.
So where would that be on the map?
So on that is sorry, I'm just looking for it here.
Would it be back sort of against this wall?
Yeah, it's where that cross. There's that 2 square area there.
Mm-hmm.
That is the secret room. Yeah, there's 2 squares that don't have a door or anything connecting to them, so those ones are the secret room.
I want to take a peek in the secret room.
Okay. So, stepping into the room, you see even more bookshelves packed with tomes. A heavy wooden chest with clawed iron feet stands against the south wall, its lid half closed, and sticking out of the slightly open chest is a skeleton in leather armor. Clutched in the skeleton's left hand outside the chest is a letter bearing the seal that you recognize from the castle, Strahd von Zarevich's seal, written in flowing script.
I am looking at the armor in the room, very taken aback from the wolf-like helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to examine it, see if anything will happen. I'll take one as I learned my lesson from the sword earlier.
Fair enough. Does not appear to be any bad that might happen. It appears to be the helmet, at least, might be functional for a human, but not.
Can we sell it?
I'm going to take a look at the books in the room.
Look at the books?
Yeah.
Sure. So the tomes on the walls, actually, these ones are very different. You pull these ones off, and instead of just being kind of general history, mathematics, arcana, things like that, these books are actually used, and a lot of them describe fiend summoning rituals and the necromantic rituals of a cult called the Priests of Ozybus.
Okay. Okay, I dig this.
Osybus.
Okay.
Ozybus mean anything to me?
Doctor.
Not really. You, with the background that you have and the path that you've taken, you would expect that it would, but it doesn't. You're thinking, given your experience with this may be a specific thing to this plane. Maybe not something that has been delved into on the material plane yet.
Can we see what's in the scroll?
I think we take that scroll.
Yeah.
Put it
So-
in the chest.
Opening up the chest, you kind of look around and you very carefully do so, and you realize that the skeleton has actually got 3 darts sticking into its rib cage.
Okay.
And you kind of very carefully look around and realize that the trap has been triggered by whatever this was. And so it doesn't appear like there's anything else that may be harmful to you. The letter reads, My most pathetic servant, I am not a messiah sent to you by the dark powers of this land. I have not come to lead you on a path of immortality. However many souls you have bled on your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the ones who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms writhing in my earth. You say that you are cursed, your fortunes spent, your abandoned love for madness took solace in the bosom of another woman and sired a stillborn son. Cursed by darkness? Of that I have no doubt. Save you from your wretchedness? I think not. I much prefer you the way you are, your dread lord and master, Strahd von Zarovich.
Okay, so that one kid's stillborn, right?
That makes sense.
So this letter is to the
The owner of
woman.
the house.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about in there?
Can you read me again the part about the stillborn son?
Never
We
around.
found a room.
I'm never around you.
So, you say that you are cursed, your fortunes spent, you abandoned love for madness, took solace in the bosom of another woman, and sired a stillborn son.
Okay, so it is to the husband.
Yeah. I'm gonna call Dingus into the room with us.
Okay. So, inside the chest, opening that and pulling the skeleton out, You see 3 blank books with black leather covers, probably quite valuable. You might actually be able to get a little bit for these. These would be very nice spell books, but nothing currently inside them. However, as you're kind of flipping through the pages, you come to the back and you do find that there are 3 scrolls sealed with wax seals, and you actually recognize these as spell scrolls. You just don't know exactly what they are yet. They're currently still sealed. You also find further in there the deed to the house, the deed to a windmill, and a signed will.
Okay. I'm gonna take those scrolls.
Okay.
For starts.
Sounds good.
You can own the house.
No, I don't want this house. It's awful. It's a place I'm not from. I want to read the will.
Okay. So the will is signed with the names Gustav Durst and Elizabeth Durst. Bequeaths the house, the windmill, and all other family property to Rosavalda and Thornbolt Durst.
Was there other kid Fred?
Yeah. You made it over there.
Just for those.
So what were the kids' names again?
Kids' names were Rosavalda and Thornbolt.
Didn't we find out that the kids were called Rose and Fawn?
Yeah.
It sounds a little familiar.
I want to read the deed.
Read the deed.
Read
Okay.
the deed to the house.
So the deed to the house is the title ownership of the house. Whoever so owns this, whoever has signed their name upon it, becomes the sole inheritor and sole right owner of the house and of the windmill. There's no descriptions of the locations.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that you are missing.
Are the house and the windmill 2 separate deeds?
2 separate
Okay.
deeds. Yes.
What are the names signed to them?
The names are currently signed to the current owners, which are
Gustavo and
Gustav and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
But there is no recipient that's been signed for yet. And that field appears to be left blank. The will appears to leave it to their children, but they're never signed for it. So they are currently open and eligible to have a name written in.
I think
I'm
those
gonna-
would be useful.
I'm going to take those.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
go ahead and
gonna-
take the deeds.
I'm going to take those, and I'm going to take the quill pen from the
Okay.
desk.
Sounds good.
And the
Les
ink?
Paul is
I think I
bored
have ink already.
of them trifling through things, and he's gonna go find the next pair of stairs to go up.
Okay, so
Wait, are we cleared this floor then?
I think we did.
There's
No, we haven't.
These-
Oh no, we did do this right.
Yeah, we cleared this floor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we should all go.
do you want to open the scrolls and see what they are, or do you want to leave the seals intact? For the
I'm
spell
going to leave the
scrolls?
seals intact.
Okay, so you have 3 spell scrolls. You don't know what they are quite yet, but you have those.
No, we've all been watching this, so we know what you have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you've
So
all
we
been
know-
kind
yeah,
of
we
going
know-
over each other and
I
passing
think
things back.
I would like to say that I think that those deeds will be important and
I think so, too.
will be useful.
And the will.
Okay, perfect. So you've taken.
good to
Right. We don't want someone to.
Dr. Lawyer.
Doctor Lawyer. So, climbing the red marble staircase to the top of the 3rd floor landing, you see unlit oil lamps mounted on oak-paneled walls.
Same.
Carved. Nope. Sorry, 3rd map. 3rd map. Yep.
While everyone's climbing, I'd like to go down and snag that box from the cabinet nobody opened or took. I'm just
Sure.
gonna take the box whole and bring it with me.
Yep. So it's a fairly small one, give or take about that big or so, and then a little bit tall. Like it's something that you would have to kind of carry like a baby,
Okay.
but you have it sealed.
And as everyone is trailing behind me, because my curiosity led me upstairs and my ferocious bravery of trying to find this monster first, I just thought,
So you see oil lamps mounted on the oak-paneled walls, carved with willows and trees, falling eaves and deepers. When you reach a clear glass door leads to a desk down with a black armor standing against the wall opposite the staircase with cobwebs. One of the first things you see actually has cobwebs on it.
Okay. Any other doors?
A series of doors open.
so to my right, there's a glass door.
To your right, it's more like a glass window. It's more like a glass window where you can see outside. You can see kind of the tops of the house.
I smash it.
Okay. So smashing the window. You realize actually you can walk out. It's a balcony. You're able to just open the window and step out onto a very small balcony.
That's not how I roll.
But you smash the glass, step through the
The
glass.
fog is gonna come in.
But the fog appears to actually be hugging the edge of the balcony. It doesn't actually appear to be spilling over.
It's just a magical
onto the
fog.
balcony.
It's not a real fog.
Just low
You have
rendering.
more reason to be.
It's not the mist. The mist seeps in. The fog stays where it is.
Of course, how silly of me.
It can't cross the boundaries of an inhabited house.
Rules of
for better or
Stephen
worse.
King himself.
I'm not a fog doctor, I'm a people doctor.
Alrighty. So stepping out,
So-
you see the fog.
Just
So,
to
it's over
clarify,
here.
that's this.
So top of the stairs, immediately on the right of the stairs.
Right here.
Sorry, hang on.
Right?
Give me 1 sec. Did I grab the wrong map?
I don't know.
Oh no, is this the
No, no.
basement?
Oh, hang on. Heck.
Where are we?
We're on the third floor.
Also,
I'm smashing glass. It's
Yeah.
breaking checks and naming things.
You're just straight up Leroy Jenkinsing this whole situation.
so real quick, guys, while we've got a moment, that letter addressed a secret dungeon.
Oh, I apologize.
Yes.
I misread. On your
And a
right,
bloody
you
altar.
see a door.
Oh.
I still smash it.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a clear glass door. That's
That
in
would've
the
been
room
funny.
that you smash the door to get into the room and then smash the door.
Okay.
So anyways, but on the opposite side, so this is where you come out of the balcony here. Plate of the suit of armor is here.
Yeah.
And so you come up to the top of the stairs and go to there.
But then
So the door is right here.
Door is kind of around that little corner to the
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Alright. Well, I go over there and smash it in.
Okay. So stepping beside the plate of armor,
Oh boy.
you start to hear a little bit of squeaking of metal, and you suddenly just turn and realize that a fairly large sword is swinging across, making an attack at you.
So anyways, I'm gonna turn 13.
Well, that's a natural 2. So I don't think that's gonna hit, but you
With
never know.
enemies.
What's your AC again? 18?
16.
16? Yeah, pretty sure it doesn't have a plus 14 to hit. But let me
I'm just that damn
double
good.
check just in case.
Or do a kick.
I smash doors and I dodge attacks.
So where are we all? 'Cause
Nope,
so,
you're good. So,
Yeah, we
so
were-
Wait,
you
wait,
guys are following. He's
I'm
not
up-
being
yeah.
stealthy climbing up the stairs. You're essentially rounding the
goes.
staircase, starting to come to the top.
Okay.
And as you kind of peer up to the top, you see the armor start to squeak and pick the sword that's leaned up against the wall. Just pick it straight up and swing it straight across. So that is only a 6 to hit, so it doesn't hit you.
They're not mine.
But the
That's
metal
things.
clatters into the ground, and the suit of armor actually appears to kind of reel on itself and stand upright and go into a defensive stance. I need all of you to roll initiative.
Finally!
Alith is downstairs. Are you not?
I've come
grabbing
back up.
the-
I-
You
Okay.
come back up,
sneaked.
you're just lagging behind, so
Yeah.
you're going to be,
Okay.
we'll say you're at the bottom of the stairs currently. The rest of you are halfway up the stairs.
D20.
And then, D20 plus your initiative bonus, please.
Does anyone want another one of these? While I have them in my hand.
8.
So I'm going to go top down, so just give me, I'll let everybody roll and keep your numbers handy, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
That's better.
Sorry, initiative is it a D10 or is
So
it
it's a D20, and then you add your initiative modifier,
Right,
which is
yeah.
your dexterity bonus. Okay, so,
That's not right.
Who brought those?
Those ones?
Yeah, those are delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
Trader Joe's.
okay,
had that in
anybody,
Canada.
initiative 25 to 20.
Actually, did you have any
23.
more?
23.
Sorry, 21.
21.
I lied.
Didn't get
21.
Alright, Allura is up first. 20 to 15.
Oh, yeah.
15. Yeah.
Yep.
15 to 10.
11.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, 13.
13.
11.
11.
13.
13. 11. Okay. Cool. So you guys are going to act simultaneously.
Pew, pew.
So that'll be
Back to back.
Fastball special, this.
D'Amato and Leaf. And then Leaf. And less. Hope. Alrighty, so starting things off, let's just go ahead and throw in a little more fight. So, starting things off, Allura at the top of the list. You are halfway up the stairs, so I'll get you guys to go ahead and orient yourselves on that
Staircase?
Staircase, yeah.
In order of initiative, would that be? Or.
It's just in order of what you would be walking up. So
I would have followed. Yeah, I think
followed,
I would have gone up fairly quickly.
Okay, so we'll say the rest of you are just off the edge of that, so your first square of movement will be to step onto the staircase that's visible there. So, what would you like to do?
So the suit of armor is
Suit of armor is that
going.
black piece
Yeah,
there.
and it's going towards.
It is started to move towards, so he's actually directly beside it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and he's
there you
facing backwards,
And
right?
he's facing backwards as it attacked. Oh, actually, I just realized it would have had an advantage on that attack, because it's a surprise attack. Ooh, that's gonna hit. That's a 20.
Ooh.
To who, me?
To you.
Fuck!
Yep.
Son of a bitch, you already did your shit.
You know what? Yeah, that's fine. I won't do that, but it should have had advantage because you were surprised.
I know.
You walked right past it. Alrighty, so, sorry. Allura, you may continue.
I would like to. No, you're facing this door. You were kicking
No,
this
but
door
he
in.
went and I ducked and like I turned around now.
You would be turned around and facing him now, yeah.
That's right.
But you'd be standing right next to him. You wouldn't be 10 feet away.
I am right here.
There you go.
So I would like to use this fun heavy crossbow,
Your new toy.
my new toy, and shoot at the.
You armored. Shoot.
Shoot at the suit of armor?
Sure.
Sure.
That's big.
So stepping into the area, being able to line up your shot, you crouch low, kind of cranking the wheels, getting it all pulled in tight, and then fire your shot. Go ahead and make your attack.
And it's a.
So it's a D20,
Oh, okay.
and then you're going to add your dexterity and your proficiency, so it should be +5.
22.
22 does hit. Go ahead and roll damage. So it's 1d10, and add your dexterity bonus.
6.
6. Alrighty, so 6 points of damage.
Yeah.
Way to go.
First blood.
First, yes.
Yeah.
First blood up. Well, besides the blades.
So the bolt does come straight out of your crossbow, impacts against the armor, and actually does embed itself in one of the plates and kind of pulses inside. And you notice there is like a bit of a kind of a reeling, like the creature, whatever this is, was hit by something and pushed backwards slightly,
Okay.
and then kind of stands up and is at the ready again.
Can I use my bonus action to kind of survey what I can notice about this creature?
So one thing I just want to double check: do you get sneak attack on that because your ally is adjacent?
Yes! I
You-
think I do.
So let's just double check that because rogues are fun, but I'm
Rogues are
making sure.
fun.
I'm pretty sure you do, as long as the creature is within 5 feet.
Yeah, I think it's if it's in melee.
Sneak attack. You don't need advantage if either another enemy of the target is within 5 feet, that enemy is incapacitated, and you don't have disadvantage on the roll. You get sneak attack. So you can go ahead and roll an additional 1d6 points of sneak attack damage.
What?
Yep.
Ooh,
Rogues, man, are fucking crazy.
5 more.
Or
5
so
more.
I've been told.
So basically doubled your damage because it
Just
was
got-
paying attention to your ally, and you managed to blindside it in the shoulder with your bolt. Nicely done. Alrighty. So you have a bonus action remaining if you'd like to do anything.
Yes, I would like to look at and kind of what can I see?
That would be more of an action to be able to kind of really look at something and kind of determine the aspects of it. The
okay.
bonus action for you, like you can move into the room as a rogue. You've got your ability to hide. To
Okay, I'm gonna move around this corner and try to hide in this corner.
Okay, so you kind of press up against the balcony and kind
Yeah.
of lean over the back.
I'm
and
gonna
you're just looking down at the floor below
lean.
and kind of
I'm going to find a wall and lean.
and
Ooh,
start to
actually,
wind
I
up.
would like to preload a crossbow bolt. Can I do that?
It's all part of the same action. When you take the attack
okay.
action with a crossbow, it's load and shoot, or shoot then load. In
Okay.
your case, you had it loaded on your back, so you shot and then
Okay.
loaded. Alrighty, so you're good to go. Next up is D'Amato
Do I have to?
and Elite simultaneously.
Hunter's mark.
Hunter's mark.
Do I have to roll to hide?
No, hiding specifically would be like if there's something you can actually hide behind. You're just
okay.
kind of pressing yourself up against a balcony, so
Okay.
you're
I'm a-
plain view.
Ninja
Alright.
strikes.
I'm gonna aim and pew
Ninja.
pew a little eldritch blast at him.
Okay, so Hunter's Mark and Longbow Shot. Perfect. So climbing up the stairs, you can go ahead and move yourselves into range, being able to shoot.
Thank you.
And Eldritch Blast right behind. So I'll go, you both to go ahead and roll your attack. So it's a D20. You'll be adding your Charisma bonus
Yep.
and your Dex proficiency, and you'll be adding your Dex bonus and your proficiency.
Okay. That makes that way less mediocre. 17.
22.
17 does not hit. Your
Oh, damn it.
impact of the arrow, you're kind of expecting this to find purchase, but this is plate pretty substantial armor, and it just deflects off, and the bolt shatters against the armor. 22, however, the force from that kind of caves in one of the plates. Go ahead and roll your damage on that. So it's 1d10.
1d10 plus charisma modifier.
Correct.
Where is
The absolute best Eldritch invocation that exists.
It's a
That's this
D10.
guy.
All the extra damage.
That's the D10. Yeah.
That's the
Yep.
guy, right?
That's
Yep.
a 10.
Okay. Chance.
Ooh.
Well,
No, isn't that? No, that's full. That's 10.
oh, that's 10.
A 0 is 10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 15.
That was a ouch
Like,
Points
reaction,
oh,
not a
zero.
oh you suck reaction.
Do you have a plus 5 to your charisma?
No, I have plus 4. Hold up. Because I have agonizing blast. Yeah, so plus 4.
Plus 4, so 14. Okay, so 14 points of damage. So heavy impact. Your arrow kind of skirts off the side and it kind of turns over to you right as a and just the center cavity plate just dents inwards to the point that it actually cracks and you can see the void with it.
I miss
Substantial
Warlock
hit from
so much.
Leaf and Les simultaneously. Les, you're right beside the creature, so we'll go ahead and say that you get to act first, and then Leaf, you'll be making your way up the stairs. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna clean this fucker.
Okay.
I'm going to. I'm going to drop my shield so I can grab my trident with both hands. Actually, no, wait. I have dueling. I'm gonna just fucking strike him with a big old trident.
So going to drop your shield and then remembering, wait, this is what I trained my entire life to do. Shield up, trident at the ready, and you go ahead and stab. Go and make a d20, add your strength and your proficiency bonus.
7. Plus 2. Plus dueling is 2.
Dueling is to damage, not to hit.
Oh, right, sorry. So 7
So 7 plus your strength, which I
5.
believe is plus 3.
plus 5.
Your strength is 20?
My strength is plus 5. Oh, sorry, plus
No,
3.
no, plus 3.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and then plus the 2 for your proficiency, so it's a total of 12.
yeah.
So 12 kind of impacting against, and you're trying to find purchase, but you're just skirting off the armor. There's nothing that you're able to find purchase with it, unfortunately. Leaf?
Wait. Action surge. Extra move.
Oh, if you'd like to, yeah.
Yeah.
You get a secondary action if you'd like to attack again.
I sure would.
Okay, so after the first attack swings off, you ready yourself with your action surge. I'm going to wait for you to do that. Leaf will go ahead and let you make your attack
All
first.
the walk up to the pole and flushes holy symbol and casts sacred flame.
Okay, dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
What's your DC?
Oh, sorry, no. It is a sorry. DC is 14.
That's a 1.
Okay, cool.
So I have to wait to do the action surge?
Just in case, because you're kind of acting simultaneously, so you attack once, his attack comes in, and then your
Gotcha.
action surge will kind of go again.
Okay.
Alright, so that's 4.
Just because you guys
4 points? Okay.
I got it.
So 4 points of damage.
Simultaneous.
Good to go there. Anything else?
Just gonna kind of continue up the stairs, but
Okay.
still skirt back.
Just kind of skirting back a little bit, and with your action surge, you're sure you want to use that?
You only use it once.
Once per short rest.
True.
Yeah. It's not like a once per combat thing.
Not like my
It's
sneak
got
attack.
it's got its chest caved in.
Yeah, no,
a
I'm
bolt
good.
sticking out over the left or the right shoulder.
No, I'm
it's
good.
not looking like a good set of armor anymore.
Yeah.
You
No,
good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Next up is the animated armor. The creature that walked past it, it's going to continue to make another strike against you. This is going to go ahead and make 2 melee attacks.
To me?
Yep. First one, that is a 10, so that one's going to miss.
Thank God for shields.
And the second one is a 14.
16.
16 is your AC because of the shield. So, first glance, it kind of, you realize actually that it's dropped the sword at this point and has actually just got gauntleted fists and is just impacting against your shield, kind of just throwing itself at you, but unable to find any real purchase on your bodies.
This is amazing.
And then Hopes, we come to you.
Seems like he's
You see the fist just mailing down, raining down on this, on your Triton ally. What would you like to do?
Don't stop him.
Can
Wow.
I use
No, I know
Divine
he's getting
Smite?
You can. So Divine Smite is, I believe, once you hit the creature, then you just get to use it to deal extra damage if you want to do so.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's what Divine Smite is. I'm gonna double check that though,
Okay.
because I think that's the whole thing with it. Is it's essentially I hit something, I'm gonna deal a hell of a lot more damage to it. So I'm gonna use Divine Smite. I'm just gonna double check and make sure that's correct.
If not, I could possibly use the longsword one-handed with my shield.
Yeah, so when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you can spend a spell slot to deal an extra 2d8 radiant damage. So you go up with your longsword first. Are you shielding? So longsword in one hand?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So go ahead and roll a d20, and you'll be adding your strength and your proficiency bonus.
11.
11. The straight comes down, and you're kind of the same issue that everybody else is having. You can't quite make it through that plate armor, so it's just glancing the blows off. Unfortunately, that's going to be your attack. Top of the round, Allura, having backed into a corner, leaning up against the banister, crossbow at the ready again.
Invisibility.
You go ahead and make your shot, so go ahead and take your attack.
Take the shot.
Take the shot.
Oh, that is not a fun number. And my dexterity? Is
Add
that
your
what you-
dexterity and your proficiency, so +2 plus your dex.
8.
8. And same thing for you. Everybody else raining these blows down, seemingly unaffecting the creature in any way. You're kind of looking at it, trying to find your way with this many creatures in melee combat with it. You actually just can't even find a shot through, and your shot ends up going wide into the
Okay.
walls.
And I have no way to take another
Take another
attack,
shot.
right?
No,
Okay.
not currently, no. Higher levels.
Yes. Yes, it's coming.
Yes.
Cool. I'm
Alrighty.
gonna...
Cool.
Content where you are.
Cool.
Alrighty, on from there we have D'Amato and Leaf one more time.
Alright.
So I'll let you guys go ahead and do your attacks simultaneously if you want to do the same thing, or if you want to do something else.
I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah,
Same
me
thing?
too.
Yeah,
Very
why
good.
not?
Go for it. Shot and
Ah.
push blast.
Oh! Natural 20.
Yes, D'Amato.
No, it was
Doctor Swords.
15.
15. Yeah,
Yeah.
15. Again, similar situation
I
what's
think
been
you get
happening
a
with
crit.
Aurora. Everybody in
Yeah,
melee
it's a crit.
combat, you're trying to find your shot, and it just passes right through one of the arms.
Double dice.
However, you, not really caring about your allies, if they hit it, it's fine. Whoosh. Your bolt goes out. Go ahead and roll your damage on that. 1d10 plus 4.
And he gets double, doesn't he? Because it's crit.
So you can either roll 2d10s, or you can double what you roll, but you can decide before you roll the dice.
Oh, I'm gonna double then.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? 2 plus 4, so
6.
6.
You got 2 ones?
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's not right.
That's that 1 in 100 chance.
yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't was it 2 zeros?
No, 0 1.
0 1.
He got 2
Oh,
ones on that
no.
damage
Did I?
die on
No,
a
wait.
crit roll.
Was
Hold
one
on.
a 0
Real
0?
quick.
Huh?
I misread.
What
Are you
is
sure?
That because that was there, right? Hold up. No, I'm dumb.
No,
Let's
you
go
had
with
2
that.
ones.
Yeah, two
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
2 ones. Well, even still, 6 points of damage is enough to do it in. So the Eldritch Blast escapes your hand, and you kind of feel, oh, that wasn't very... Oh. And it just impacts against the creature, pinning it against the wall as the armor just kind of shatters in the center of the chest, and then all the pieces fall to the ground, now lifeless.
So I get temporary hit points from that, right?
You certainly do.
But they dissipate after like a turn or so.
When he takes a short rest.
That's true, but they're around for now.
They're around until he takes a short rest.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many do I get?
I believe it is...
Is that a class
It's
ability
a
or
modifier
It's fiend.
ability.
It's Fiend Pact.
Yeah, it's the one that it's the one that I
okay.
have, my own warlock.
Double checking, hang on.
It's a modifier add.
Impact.
I think it's
Starting at
charisma.
first level, when you reduce a hostile creature to 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma
Yeah.
modifier plus your warlock level.
Oh, so 4, so 6.
6.
6.
So you gain 6
Whoa.
temporary hit points. That
So
and
you're
temporary.
going first to all the doors.
So you like absorb something like vision.
Yeah. So
Warlock
essentially, think of it. You've got a shield around yourself right
Yeah.
now. You can absorb 6 hit points before the damage starts to bleed through,
Mhm.
but the 6 hit points don't stack. If you kill another
Yeah.
creature, that's the maximum that you can do.
Cool.
Okay, awesome. Alrighty, so successfully done, guys.
Someone else need another
I'll take another.
one?
Okay.
I will have one.
Two.
Ready?
Thank you.
Your first real encounter with a proper enemy and animated armor.
Spooky. Some Scooby-Doo shit.
So the creature falls to the ground. We can go ahead and pull that bead off. And you now find yourselves atop the landing. For the rest of you, just as a reminder, red marble staircase, top of the third floor landing, oil lamps mounted on the oak paneled walls, carved in with woodland scenes of trees, falling eaves, and tiny critters. On your right, a now lifeless suit of black plate armor lays against the ground opposite the staircase, and the cobwebs are kind of up against the wall, and there are a few doors that you can go through.
Anything of value on the body?
Searching through the body, it's a nice set of armor. It appears to have been...
Shame it's been caved in.
Yeah, it's just kind of destroyed at this point. Like, you wouldn't really be able to salvage anything from it.
Swords of no use?
The sword looks quite nice. It's a black bladed sword, black metal of some kind. Does seem to be more kind of ornamentation than anything, but it might function as a long sword.
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm
not
good.
sure.
I don't need it.
Alrighty. So, that is that one.
Can I turn to Lee
Yeah, what's up?
and say, do you see any? Is there any of the like carvings or paintings or anything like there was in the other rooms?
So the oil lamps this time have got some carvings made on the wood and on the glass, like etchings of those lamps, but they're not quite like the other ones. These don't appear to have like the same ghastly description, ghastly depictions that the other ones have.
Okay. Okay. Leaf, do you see anything in these imagery like you did downstairs?
Yeah, I'll just kind of take a look around the, I guess the lantern, or sorry, the lamps and any other.
With these ones, it's a little bit different actually. These ones, like, it's not quite like the walls of the house. These are things that appear to be purchased and put into the house, whereas they weren't kind of built in. Where most of the other things you've seen have been part of the walls in comparison to these.
Okay. Okay.
No.
I think we hit up that room that Les kicked the door into.
Okay, so
I don't
stepping
think he
away
actually
around,
kicked it,
he was
but-
going to kick it, and then a sword clattered against his back.
I
and
went to put
dealt
my
no
foot
damage.
up and then went, hoo-yah!
Yeah, like the way shenanigans.
Well,
If you're extra.
here we go.
So
My old friend,
Now we're in the
your
spirit.
blasts were mighty and true.
That they
You
were.
now are worthy of blasting down this door.
So,
I'm just gonna open the door.
To each his own, as
Just, like,
they
looking.
say.
Well, there we go.
the double doors to this room have dusty panes of stained glass set into them. Designs in the glass resemble windmills, and stepping through the doors, you see a dusty, cobweb-filled master bedroom. Burgundy drapes covering the windows, furnishings including a four-poster bed with embroidered curtains, tattered gossamer veils, a matching pair of open, empty wardrobes, a vanity with a wood-framed mirror and jewelry box, and a padded chair. A rotting tiger skin rug lies on the front of the fireplace, which has a dust-covered portrait of, you assume, Gustav and Elizabeth Durst hanging above it. The web-filled parlor in the southeast corner contains a table and two chairs, and resting on the dusty tablecloth is an empty porcelain bowl and a matching jug. At the foot of the bed is a full-length mirror mounted against a small door, and a second door with stained glass leads to a fog-covered balcony outside the house. So that's the one that I mistakenly mentioned earlier. So that's the one where it kind of leads out to the very
Oh,
corner
this here?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a stained glass door out to the balcony.
Okay. I'm gonna open that mirror door.
Okay.
Yeah, seeing the tiger skin on the run of tiger skin, Lee's gonna, or I'll walk over and sort of like roll it and just kind of like toss it over and sort of bunch it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So opening that door, it appears to just be some kind of storage room, like a small closet, linen closet maybe, and it's got a few tattered pieces of clothes. Again, a little bit different, not anywhere near the decor that you found in the lower levels.
Nothing on there.
Nothing of any real note. The only thing of any note that all of you pay attention to is the jewelry box.
Yeah, I was gonna say, sidling up to that.
Are you still holding the box? Just
Yeah, I guess
like,
maybe I should.
You would
open
have
that
put
up.
it down.
Yeah, I
but-
would have put it down. Maybe
yeah.
picked it back up, but maybe we can open it. Anyone? Yeah.
I
So inside the box that you picked up from the lower level, you have a deck of playing cards and an assortment of fine wine glasses with a small bottle of, you'd guess is probably port. Not quite sure. Out for boys' night or maybe out on a hunt. You're not sure. The jewelry box on the vanity is made of silver and gold filigree. Very, very nice, very well crafted. Kind of one of the nicest pieces you've seen so far. Inside it, you find 3 gold rings and a very thin platinum necklace with a topaz pendant.
I'm like right at the jewelry.
I'm greedy, but
Even
I'm not dumb.
for your eyes, this
I'm
is
not gonna I'm not gonna
very
like.
valuable.
Yes,
and that
Like,
I would
and
be
you
I would
know.
be like right over there, but also I'm going to like we in a creepy
You
house.
love the fancy things in life.
I really do.
And you, that not only do you love them, you know them when you see them.
Yes. Yes.
This, you're estimating with your eye. Go ahead and just make a general intelligence check for me.
Hold on, outside of game, how many floors are in this house?
3.
We're at
So
3 now.
this is the 3rd floor, and you saw
No,
that there
I
may
think
have
it's
been an
this one.
attic, but you're not quite sure. You saw
there a
3
basement?
sets of windows, and then this the roof went a little higher than what you were expecting.
We haven't seen a
Was
basement.
there a basement?
They told you that the monster was in the basement, but you haven't seen any indication there is one yet.
But we do have
we
the
know-
mystery key.
We know that there's a
You do have a mystery.
mystery
Where was the key
secret
from again?
dungeon with
Yeah.
The key
bloody
was in the
altar.
drawer on the second.
Jump at the second
And
floor.
there was secret rooms already.
Yeah.
So
What
my
was your
investigation
intelligence.
Oh,
Just general
um,
intelligence. Add your intelligence modifier.
7.
7.
You love it.
500 to 1,000 gold pieces. Like
Okay.
this is a really expensive. This is like a regular family would be able to sell this and probably live quite comfortably for
Okay.
most of their lives.
And do they look like they might have other properties that, like, outside of just being valuable? Like, do they look like they might be magical? of any
You,
sort?
with no real magical background, wouldn't really be able to tell that
Okay.
at first glance.
Okay.
Yeah.
This looks like a job for a doctor.
You would be able to ask somebody who maybe is a little more experienced with the arcane, but
Arcana check?
yeah,
What would that be?
essentially they would be looking for things like runes to see if it is magical in some way. But just by looking at something, you wouldn't be able to get that. You'd need to actually
Okay.
pick it up, turn it over,
Okay.
and look for any magical.
What's going on over there?
Okay. I would like to be like, to say, hey guys, there's some jewelry over here. I would like to keep one, but I think we can also sell this potentially to get gold.
You
because
currently are the only person who knows the rough value of it. Everybody else,
Yeah.
they recognize it's platinum. It's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
You actually kind of
So there's you
narrow
said
this
there's
down.
2 rings
There's
and
3
a necklace.
rings. The 3 rings, and they're just gold rings, standard
They don't have
bands.
any design or anything like that.
No
or
real design on them
logo?
per se. They seem like, kind of a standard male wedding band kind of thing. But the pendant specifically and the platinum chain, those are where the real money is.
What about the box itself?
Box itself is worth quite a bit. Actually,
Yeah.
the box is probably worth all 3 of the rings combined.
We should bring that with us because it's silver.
And it is very small. Like this is a
Yeah.
properly
Okay.
small little jewelry box, like less than the size of this kind of thing.
Hold on.
Okay. I'm going to put one of the rings on without letting anyone know that I've done that.
Go
And
make a sleight of hand check. And this is going to be against everybody's passive perception because you're not actively looking. So I've got it all recorded. Don't worry. So
Thank you.
sleight of hand check.
21.
21. Yeah, that's not even within 5. You kind of opening the box and looking at everything and just kind of pulling the pieces out. Pull out 1 ring, 2 rings, a necklace. Okay. And then you kind of just continue on. And you have one of the rings in your
Okay.
possession.
Okay. I'm gonna be like, hey guys, we've got some jewelry here. We can probably sell these. They are worth a lot. There's 2 rings and a necklace.
The rings you would estimate are probably in the 25, 40 gold range, somewhere in there. But the necklace
Okay.
is in the hundreds, if not the thousands.
Okay.
As this is going on,
I would just want the ring.
as this is going on, I'm
It's a
going to
little
go
bit tricky.
over to this door
Oh boy.
Okay.
and I'm approaching it and ready.
Approaching.
I'm approaching the door and I'm like getting my ready
So
kit
there's
to go.
2 doors. The one
This
south.
one I'm facing.
Okay.
Oh no,
so
sorry, this one, this bigger one.
The south one. Okay.
Yes. So I'm ready to I'm getting my foot ready,
Jean-Claude Van
but then
Damme,
I
right.
noticed D'Amato go into his room
Mm-hmm.
and use his finesse, and I mutter to myself,
To open a door.
and I mutter to myself, "Don't be impulsive, learn by doing. Don't be impulsive, learn by doing." And I put my foot down, and I just put my trident down, and just
Make a performance check.
2
You kind
Plus-
of reach.
nothing.
Yeah, you kind of reach for the door, and kind of having seen what he did before, and like looking around, and it's a knob, it's a standard doorknob, and you kind of put your hand up to it, and then just kind of turn your hand. You can't quite figure out
Like,
where
forget
the
how to open
grip
doors.
comes in,
Can I
and then
see
you just
this from
think about it for a second. You're like, this is stupid. and then you successfully do grab the door and just kind of break the handle off. But the door does open because you've turned it successfully and just broken it.
I was gonna say, I guess I'm assuming I'd be. You all right down there, man?
And you just hear a.
Oh, okay, I think he's good.
And you're just holding the doorknob now. It's like broken off, but it's still in your hands. So.
And then the door gonna go.
And the door is now opening because you've successfully unlatched it and it is opening, but you're holding the doorknob. And then you hear a boom, boom, boom as the other side of the doorknob falls in on the other.
And then you were saying.
I was going to say we should probably follow Les Paul, but I'm still think we should dive further into the first box that you opened, the one with the suspicious blood liquid, blood-like.
From what I know of
Port?
dungeons, we may want to check around this bedroom more.
What do you... What?
I'll check around, poke around in the corners, and feel around and see if I can see any.
So make an investigation check. Or sorry, perception check.
Perception check.
Yeah. You're just doing this in the bedroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we're taking a look.
13.
13?
Yeah.
Doesn't appear to be anything in the room. You're kind of running your hands over the logical places where things would be, but then you kind of realize that everywhere in this room, except for the dumbwaiter, which I assume you open and you see that there's a dumbwaiter in there as well, the one place there might be a secret panel of some kind would actually just open out on the stairs. So there doesn't actually appear to be anywhere in this area that there might be a secret door.
Is there any spots where there's less dust?
Not that you can see.
Can I? Sorry, go ahead. I don't know who.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, can we do any further checks on the vial and the cards? Or is it?
It's pretty standard. Like, without opening the bottle, it's a sealed bottle, but it appears to be, bottle of port, standard size, very nice small port glasses. It appears to be a matching set that was maybe a gift of some kind, but you're not entirely sure. Beyond that, you need to open the bottle to really check if it's alcohol.
I'd not drink that.
No, I don't think we should drink it, but I feel very suspicious over it. I don't know if it's something that we should keep or destroy, but then I don't know if by destroying we would cause whatever it is to take effect.
I'd say let's leave whatever in this house that we don't think is essential or that we don't really think is very pretty.
I agree. Take the nice things.
Take the nice things.
I have now entered said room.
You have. Alrighty, so entering into that room, you're going into the one along the bottom. Dust and cobwebs shroud an elegantly appointed bedroom and an adjoining nursery. Double doors set with panes of stained glass pull open to reveal a balcony overlooking the front of the house. The bedroom contains a large bed, 2 end tables, and an empty wardrobe. Mounted on the wall next to the wardrobe is a full-length mirror with an ornate wooden frame carved to look like ivy and berries.
I sit here. Nothing happens.
It's a mirror. You look at yourself. You're ugly. You think you're pretty.
Wow.
To some people.
You think you're at the height of suave.
I
right
am.
now.
I'm gonna check on Les.
Okay. So stepping into the room, you see the same thing. You see a door that is very slightly ajar and might be a nursery on the other side. You're not sure.
D'Amato,
Hello, friend.
what do you make of this?
It appears to be a nursery, but maybe not.
What is a nursery?
That's where we take care of our young,
What do you mean?
our babies.
Like take care of them?
No, we're gonna do that later. Don't worry.
Oh, take care of them.
Sure. Let's go with that.
All right.
I want to investigate the crib.
Okay, so kind of going into this side room, you kind of press against the door and you realize it's actually a false door. Like, it looks like there's something on the other side, but kind of pressing against it, you seem to hit some kind of barrier and then realize that it's actually just a painted-on piece. So you're not entirely sure what.
D'Amato.
But the main room area is definitely for a nursemaid. And kind of looking around the room, and you actually up against that mirror. Can I get you to make a perception check?
19.
Plus 0. Oh no, plus 2.
21.
21. Kind of looking up against the mirror.
Investigation? Zero.
Perception.
Perception.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. looking at the mirror and kind of looking at yourself and kind of appreciating your own suaveness, you actually realize this is a mirror, and kind of, though there's a faint line around where the mirror would meet the frame that doesn't actually quite adjoin it to that on 3 sides.
So
and you
there's
kind
two?
of push against it, and it actually opens up into a room which is a proper nursery.
Aha!
So, pushing against the mirror, it
Secret
swings
baby.
inward to reveal a small nursery with a crib covered by a hanging black shroud.
There he is. There's our boy.
D'Amato,
Yes, friend.
I think I found your killing room.
Oh my
You
god.
kind of like putting your hand
I'm gonna
against
just,
this and
like, go
admiring the craftsmanship of
wander
the
over.
painting, like
See what's
believing the depth of on the other side of it. You kind of turn around and realize, oh, the mirror's gone, and then there's a small crib and then a black shroud that just kind of is hanging over it.
Anything else in the room? Just crib and...
Not at first
Crib
glance.
thing.
You need to step in to really take a look.
I'm gonna give a holler to everybody else. Friends, there's a dead baby in here, probably.
Stillborn. Alrighty.
I hope I never again uncover an unsightly, horrible space as a nursery in my entire life. We try and race, we love our children. We bear them from fruit to bigger fruit. And
Well, we'll find out what just happened to this little tiny baby. Oh
The more
boy.
money you have, the farther away your children are.
what does that mean?
Okay, so we
You
have
can afford
this.
to
We
keep
got a
them.
crib in front of us.
Head.
Probably
Yeah.
take the thing off.
But
Um,
should we do a check before we
We
take
should
it?
absolutely do a check.
So you guys are currently, no one has stepped through the mirror yet. So you're still on the outside.
What? I so have stepped through the mirror.
Oh, you stepped through the mirror?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, stepping inside, you see the shroud covering the crib begin to shimmer slightly
That way.
and then
Oh.
coalesce
Oh,
into a
good.
semi-solid form of a skeletally thin young woman, face full of terror as she lunges at you with a black, semi-transparent claw. It's going to be an attack against you.
Won't hit.
Won't do it.
Won't do it.
So, that is a 16.
I'm 16 armor class.
16 armor class, so that does hit.
Damn it.
So, you are going to take...
Oh, he's rolling more than one dice.
Sawyer was turned in.
Oh no, he's rolling 3 dice.
Triggered
So you take
30.
6 points of necrotic damage,
It's fine.
and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, fuck.
So roll a d20, add your Constitution saving throw modifier.
Oh wait, is that?
That's 9. Plus 4. So,
13.
yeah, 13.
13 does save. So what you notice is you start to you feel the impact of, like, essentially what's a transparent hand. You would feel like it would almost go through you, and it does, and it grabs on inside your chest
Ah.
and kind of like pulls out nothing and yet something. You feel like it's like start to wither inside your shoulder almost, like veins bursting and blood seeping internally. But what you're able to resist and pull away from is the permanent reduction of your ability and your health.
Whoa.
It may have been able to actually pull, essentially reducing your maximum hit points by a certain amount, pulling that life essence out of you.
That is
And
my
I need all of
anxiety
you to please
personified.
roll initiative.
Oh!
It's literally my anxiety personified.
I'm never going to have children, ever. At least human children, anyway. You're
D20
fucking...
plus
D20
dexterity.
plus dexterity is your...
You rearing abilities are fucking...
alright,
Oh,
so...
are you
So-
gonna read down?
Sec.
Hold up. So we add our initiative score to this, or just?
You add your initiative
Okay.
score, yeah. Roll a d20, add your initiative.
Well. The doctor is in.
This is how you raise your babies?
It is now.
Jesus Christ.
So for everybody for initiative, 25 to 20.
22.
22.
It's a natural 20.
Nicely done. Leaf.
No idea what I'm doing.
20 to 15.
17.
17.
I have... Sorry, 17.
17.
16.
16. Okay. I'm going to make this easier. So if there is a tie, we're going to go by whoever has the higher initiative bonus goes first.
One.
So what's your initiative bonus?
3.
What's yours?
1.
1. Okay, so you'll be going first. So D'Amato.
Pew pew. I'll try and leave some baby for you, friend.
No wonder most
This is a
marriages
woman.
end in divorce. Those crazy, creepy ghouls come out of your baby carriage.
Okay, 15 to 10.
11.
11.
Oh, that's right. It is a woman. It's not the child. Well,
And 10 to 5.
What it is quite yet.
Oh, sorry, I'm
You're right.
13.
Oh, you're 13. Oh,
We,
sorry.
the
about that, I missed that
Tried
part.
personally
Allura,
don't like
go on,
ghouls
pull 'em up
looking
over
over
here.
our children, but that's just
I went
us.
first last time. I'm really
we prefer
polite, you
shields.
guys.
They're nice, colorful things.
Wait, sorry, Hope, what were you again? 16?
Just see where you're just carrying a
And
baby.
after less.
Perfect.
We live in zero gravity.
Alrighty, so
That's
top of the
what you
round.
guys think.
Yeah.
The big furble.
Hey guys.
Whoa.
Yes.
What's
Speak
a
louder,
specter?
son.
So yeah, so I'm gonna Leaf's gonna kind of, hearing, I guess, I don't know if there's a yell or something.
You would just hear like a from
maybe I don't know, sensing any
left.
sort of that, just immediately bolt forward through to the not into the
Behind.
nursery, but yeah, we'll say kind of behind the area, seeing the ghost.
yeah, it appears to be like a black semi-transparent ghost. You're not
Okay.
quite sure.
Yeah, seeing that, definitely gonna mutter or cast a sacred flame.
Sacred Flame. Alrighty, dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
DC is
14.
14. That's a 7.
Okay, cool. So it's,
Criminal damage.
and it's radiant damage. I don't know if that changes anything.
Good to know.
Alright, so that's an 8.
Nice.
It's an 8.
Yep.
Okay.
And then with whatever movement, if I'm blocking the thing, I'm gonna kind of step back out of the way of the
Yep.
mirror.
You're able to get
Oh
just
wait,
out of the way
those
inside.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're all good. So he stepped through. You're kind of on the other side. You Sacred Flame and then step out of
Yeah,
the way
we're-
of the mirror
we're-
to allow
wherever
people
that
to
is,
move
yeah.
their way through. Perfect. Alrighty. Up from there we have Tomato.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. So raising your hand
But
again. Eldritch Blast going
Are
out through
we?
that.
So, question: Are we? None of us are in the room.
One person is in the room.
Yeah.
You stepped through the mirror.
So Les is in the room.
Les is in the
Can
room.
we? We can't really attack through the glass.
Well, it's a mirror that's open. And
Doors
so
open,
you can
and you
see
can see
everything that's on the
inside.
other
Okay, so
side.
it's an
Shooting
open
through.
doorway.
Correct. Yeah.
Where?
So
Where
yeah.
is this?
Oh, sorry. The
ghost
specter is directly
Like,
right there. Exactly.
Okay, so like directly through.
so we can
Directly
see
through.
those of us with have ranged weapons can sort of attack
Yeah,
through
I
that
can-
open
Yeah,
door.
there's no negatives or anything to attacking into combat. It's assumed you're accurate enough that you can not hit your ally
Okay.
unless you natural one kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So sorry. So Eldritch Blast. What'd you
Yes.
roll?
I didn't yet.
Oh, perfect. So D20 plus.
Yeah. Oh boy. 5 plus 4 plus 2.
11 just misses, unfortunately.
Ah.
Not able to find purchase. Your blast going just a little bit wide. After the bravado that was your previous encounter, you kind of stick your hand out and look away, and then turn back and oh crap.
Same
Bonus
move
action.
doesn't work as good.
I'm gonna hang back as well so other people can
Perfect.
take pot shots.
Open your
So
way.
we got,
Alrighty.
we got 2 people on the
Two
side.
people on the sides. Next up, we've got Les inside the room.
That's right.
This ghostly figure in front of you, just kind of screeching slightly and preparing another hand going to touch your body.
So it put its hand inside
put its
of
hand
me.
kind of into your shoulder and then pulled out something, and it just kind of burned. And you can actually, looking over, you can see that your skin has started to darken, like you've got a bruise deep under the flesh.
This is no way to take care of children. And I just use my stance and swipe with my trident right for the head.
Go ahead and make your attack.
It's a 4. Fuck. Plus 2? Yeah, so.
Plus your strength.
Oh, sorry.
Plus 3.
Yeah, it's
So
7.
9. Yeah, 9.
I'm bad.
So yeah, 9. Unfortunately, you kind of swinging wide, like you seem to catch what would be where a person would normally be, but the ghost, whatever it is, just kind of almost separates slightly, and the trident passes straight through with no effect. Would you like to stay where you are or move around?
I'm gonna move out of the room.
Out of the room. Okay. So taking a step back, the creature does get an attack of opportunity against you. Says you did it.
Anyway.
So attack roll. That is it's okay. It's a natural 4. So that's gonna be an 8. So that does miss. So it kind of reaches out for you, but isn't quite able to find purchase, and then you step outside the room.
How many feet do I have?
You've got 30 feet of movement, so 6 squares. Alrighty. That is your turn.
And as I leave, I go, ugh! Nannies are a bitch. That's it.
Oh, you're up.
now is maybe the time to try Divine Smite alongside my...
Sure, so you would need to step in to get into
Yes,
melee
I-
combat, and then go ahead and make your attack, so go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
So you step into the room, and...
I've got my longsword and my shield.
Perfect. So roll a d20, add your strength and your proficiency.
Oh, so that is a 22.
22, that does hit. So, your Divine Smite, you can spend a spell slot to deal an additional 2d8 in addition to the 1d8 that you deal just for your sword. So you can deal 3d8 points of damage if you like to spend a spell slot.
Yeah, sure.
Seems like a good deal. So you can go ahead and roll that d8 3 times and add up the results.
Go and get yours, heroes.
That's a D10.
That's a d10.
Oh, bollocks.
It's the one that looks like a diamond.
So, yeah. Do you want
No wonder
extras?
it's so high.
You can do so that you
Oh.
can do 2 with this. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
I have 3 now.
Alright.
Oh,
I didn't come through.
And then you're adding the strength to that, so I think it's plus
20.
20 points.
Wow.
Holy cow.
What?
That's one of those just like
Holy
slows
fuck.
down.
7, 8, and 2 plus 3.
Whoop whoop.
Hope ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Alrighty.
Austin
Well, impacting against this, where your sword normally finds purchase, and you feel the impact against flesh and the spring of blood, it does pass through the form. It definitely reels, and you hear a screech of pain, but it doesn't quite appear to do the same amount of damage as what you're used to. So it is still standing, even though it was a very hefty hit. Or floating. It was a very hefty hit. Alrighty. So that's your turn unless you'd like to move somewhere else or move out of the room.
I will stay in the room, but I shall move to the side.
Okay, go ahead and move yourself wherever you'd like.
I'm just gonna move here.
Perfect. Alrighty. Next up is Spectre's turn. So, losing her original foe to the side of the room and then taking a massive blow from this paladin and this divine damage being dealt, the Spectre just kind of reaches out and with a piercing scream just clutches straight for the center of your chest. This is going to be a 18 to hit, which I believe is your AC. It is, so that just hits you. So this is going to be a little bit of damage. That's not bad. So that's 7 points of necrotic damage. So you subtract 7 from your hit points. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. So roll a d20, and then you've got a saving throw modifier there for your Constitution.
So I think it's these ones in here.
Yeah, it's in the box that's there.
Oh. I don't have anything on Constitution.
Yeah, nothing.
Yep, plus 2, don't you?
Oh,
No, it's on the saving throw.
Oh,
On
saving
the
throw.
saving throw.
Sorry.
But the saving throw should be whatever
Yeah,
your
we-
Constitution modifier
Yeah, it's
is.
Yeah.
just proficiency.
Yeah.
5.
5. Nice. So yeah, so 5 total is what you rolled plus all the modifiers and everything. Yikes. Yeah, so unfortunately you feel that, and what Les came out of the room kind of saying like, I felt like my life was being drained. You actually feel that, and it gets pulled out of you. So what happens here is you take the 9 points of damage, or the 7 points of damage, and your hit point maximum is reduced by 7 until you take a short or long rest.
Oh.
So whatever your maximum
So, like, we
number
can't
is,
even
you drop it by
heal
7.
them.
There is no maximum. That is your current maximum until you take an hour's rest or until you sleep.
Okay.
Alrighty. So it's a tough hit.
Yeah, I dealed him. I gotta take him.
Alrighty. That is that, and then we're on to Elite.
Okay, Hunter's Mark.
Hunter's Mark.
Just
Yeah.
can I know anything about the weaknesses of this creature since I have undead
So,
as my favored enemy?
Just the one thing for you, Hunter's Mark is a first level spell. You've already used it once.
Oh, okay.
So how many spell slots do you have?
Oh, I don't actually know where
I
to
think
find
it's
that.
equal to your wisdom
My wisdom.
plus half your level or something. It's
Okay. I have 3. I have your book. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I just want to find out where it is. Because I know for rangers it's a little weird. It's not like everybody else. Spell slots. That's paladin. Ranger. So you have 2 spell slots, so you'll be able to cast Hunter's Mark twice.
Okay.
But for Hunter's Mark, I just want to check how long it lasts, because I think it lasts for 10 minutes.
It lasts for...
Concentration up to an hour.
Yeah. So...
If the target drops to 0 hit points, you can use a bonus action on a subsequent turn to mark a new creature.
So it's the last encounter we have.
So the last encounter ended, so you wouldn't be able to move it to this new one, unfortunately.
Okay.
So you would be able to do it, but you would use your other spell slot.
Okay, that's fine. I'll cast it again.
Okay.
It'll be my second spell.
Perfect.
Yeah, and do I have any knowledge about what the weaknesses of this creature might be?
It's undead. It would be your action to kind of recall anything.
Okay.
It's a little bit tough on the fly just looking at it. You would really need to pay attention to its movements and everything.
So I will not do that. I will just fire my arrow, my bow and arrow at it. 16. It's plus dexterity and proficiency, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that is 22.
22 definitely hits. Go and roll damage. So
Yeah,
you're 1d8.
and I get a bonus d6, I
Plus
think,
your
right?
bonus D6,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Oh shoot, where's my
Attention.
Ah! Okay. 7.
7 plus your dexterity.
Oh yeah, okay, so 11 then.
11, alrighty. 11. So again, same thing for you is that your arrow is released and it seems to pass through the creature, and again, the purchase you're used to finding doesn't actually find it until about halfway through, when the arrow just suddenly stops, and then the creature just vanishes into puffs of black smoke. It appears to have been dispelled.
Thank you.
I just want to do some real quick fighting, you guys.
I know. I feel the pain less.
So
It feels so
as the
good,
wisps
though.
of the
Does it
specter
feel really
vanish,
good
the
to
black
you?
cloud that was covering the crib also dissipates. You see a tightly wrapped, baby-sized bundle lying in the crib.
Oh.
That's your baby-sized bundle.
Does anybody have a little bit of healing? Sometimes I can just like concentrate really hard and heal myself.
Yeah,
and I
I know.
feel like I might need some other healing.
Yeah. I can help out there. Both you.
I'm going to investigate the baby bundle.
Thank you, kind
Yeah.
friend.
I'll
So-
take so.
I'll send my cantrips over to like
I'm
give you
sorry.
some light
Can I
while
make
you look
a
at that.
medicine check on just both, or just check to see, kind of examine the wound?
Yeah, you can. So
that's-
medicine check on Les.
Yeah.
You find the wound, and it's something that you would be able to heal.
Okay.
On Hope, it doesn't appear like you would be able to heal this. This is something that requires time to just be able to get over. It's not something that a magical healing would be able to instantly fix. Yeah, the skin itself has started to decay and almost rot,
Whoa.
and it needs to take time to
Weird.
heal that naturally. Yeah. So you would be able to heal less, but any healing used on Hope would not do anything for them.
Yeah, so with that, I'll cast Cure Wounds nonetheless.
Okay. So 1d8 plus your spellcasting modifier plus wisdom.
Oh, jeez. Actually, wait, no, we said it didn't count.
Yeah, if it's not in the box, it doesn't
I mean,
count.
it's still good, but.
It's up to you.
I don't
So wait,
know.
that's a d8, right?
It's lower.
Oh yeah,
One lower. So that's 4 plus.
plus your wisdom.
Yeah, so I'll get a few things here. So 4 plus 2 plus 2, so that's 8.
Oh right, you get the extra bonuses. I forgot about that.
I'm healed.
You heal fully. Alrighty, so you are fully healed.
I am fully
So let's
healed.
call it back in action.
Oh,
I think I may need
Hope
to
you're
rest
feeling
soon.
better.
Yeah. So that one for you, you figure, based on the medicine check, you figure it would probably, an hours of downtime or so, and just kind of like applying a warm towel to it and being able to get back to a regular state, it might be able to fix that. But any kind of magical healing wouldn't do anything.
You were the first person I've gone into battle with. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay,
Les.
so I'm baby checking.
Baby check. Unwrapping the blanket, you find nothing inside.
Nothing.
Just a lump of cloth.
It appears to have had the shape of a baby, and unwrapping it, you expect to find a baby, and then it just kind of loses that shape.
Like what? Like turns to dust or?
No, it's just that it's a
It's just
bundle
like
of
it
cloth
goes
that
invisible?
looks like it would be a baby, and then you open it up, and then the bundle just kind of loses its form. And that's it.
Okay, let's take a moment. So, we can all agree that those 2 idiots outside are the two kids from the painting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Clearly, and they may be dead, given that they're clothes exactly the same as they are in all these portraits.
I don't blame them because of the nanny.
And Bundle Baby was the stillborn
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From the letter.
from the letter.
I'm wondering if that specter may have been the mother
Yeah.
who
the
was
spirit.
having an affair with the master of the house.
Still haven't figured out how to get into
The basement.
We still don't
yeah.
know where this dungeon is.
And the dungeon seems to have been used for blood sacrifice, if the letter was correct.
What's even to say if we kill this thing that we will even escape this? The kids are obviously roped us into this task.
I have a thought. These kids seem like bad news. But this baby seems like an innocent, my friend.
There's no baby.
There
the
was
baby
one.
that was.
Oh.
That's
The
right.
children might be innocent too. Sometimes spirits are stuck repeating things and traumas that happen to them in life. The children may really need to be released from the house. They might not have been trapping us. They may have been evil, but
That's why I was making a lot of commotion, because I have heard from my studies on human nature that disturbing haunted establishments causes
Action.
those things to come
Commotion.
out faster.
I'm
That's why I
pretty
was...
good at that.
I'm gonna crack the wax seals on those spell scrolls I have.
Okay. So the spell scrolls, they are.
a good time for suspense.
The first one is a spell of bless.
Okay.
Second one is protection from poison,
Ooh, that's a good one.
and the third one is spiritual weapon.
Oh, shit!
Giant lollipop!
So the whole thing with these is that in order to cast and use a spell scroll, it's a spell that your class would normally be able to use.
Alright, so none of those.
The warlock, I think, maybe protection from poison, but I'm pretty sure you can't do either of the other two. As a cleric, he can do all three.
Alright. Hey, Leaf, you want some scrolls?
That'd be pretty cool.
Alright. Scrolls.
So I'm going to have item cards for these that you can use next week, but if you end up needing to use them today, it's bless,
That would be pretty cool.
protection from poison, and
And these don't count towards my spellcasting. right?
correct. You're casting the words on the scroll, so it consumes the scroll as part of the spell, but you then get that spell.
Yeah.
The one exception there is that you can't cast a spell of which you are currently unable to cast a spell of that level.
Yeah.
So spiritual weapon is second level spell. You would have to wait until you're higher level to be able to use that one. But the other two are first levels.
Cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
Alright.
I think I already have bless.
Oh, well, there you go. But this way you don't have to use a
This
spell
is
slot.
less familiar.
So kind of cracking on that, you turning around with your passive perception, being 15, actually notice that having looked around and especially been looking for secret doors in this area, you kind of just scan the room a little bit, and you've been looking a lot at the inlay, like looking at the different pieces that are all looking different from what they appear to science. And in this one specifically, you find that there are a series of berries carved into the walls, but some of them have actually got like irises and pupils, and they're actually eyeballs in and amongst the berries. And then you notice that there is a slight break in the wood paneling up against the wall in this room, that 3 empty space right there.
Okay.
There's one slight break directly beside where the door is.
Alright.
Do you need someone to smash it?
Well, I only have 6 HP, so
So yes.
maybe. But I'll just investigate it first and just try to make sure that there's no trap or
Sure. Go ahead and make a investigation check.
18.
18. Does not appear to be trapped. It is definitively a secret door.
Yeah.
That when you push it in slightly, it does open up and then reveal that there's a staircase that goes a little bit further up.
Aha.
Oh.
I found the secret attic. Wouldn't be surprised if they kept the children up here.
Well, to the attic we go.
Alrighty. So, you go ahead and get the attic map.
Yes.
Can we,
we can get rid of these.
Yeah,
we'll
we can
flip
go ahead and
over
clear, you
the,
can clear all those ones off.
Yes.
You don't need them anymore.
okay, we'll keep them
At
just
least
in
for now,
case.
so you can
Because
keep
we
them.
all die in the attic.
And the attic.
And it was nice
Actually
to
got
have
real
you with you
stairs.
guys.
Yeah.
So,
Oh. Wait, sorry, this is north?
that is correct as it is.
Okay, perfect.
So you guys, you stepping in and looking up, you see the set of stairs there, and begin to make your way up to the attic.
I'm gonna sneak up.
Okay, go and make a stealth check.
I
Would
will
you like
also,
to go
I
up?
will assist on this.
Yes.
So it'll be you two individually. So you'll make
Okay.
a stealth check as well. Yeah, there isn't really a way to help someone else.
I think you two
Wow.
probably go ahead of us.
Yeah, 16.
I'm gonna sneak up too.
18.
Because I got a 3, so I might as well.
Following up behind? Alrighty. So in the lead is Elite, following up by Allura, followed up by the Doctor. The base hall is choked with dust and cobwebs. A series of doors are on each wall, one of which is secured with a large iron padlock. And that's the one directly closest to me there. You can just X that one.
So that guy.
Yeah, you can X that one to know that there's a padlock.
Large iron padlock. you
Large
said.
iron padlock.
Perhaps like a large iron key.
So is this is like the landing here. It's not a separate room.
It's not.
Like
It
so
appears
we
to
come
be a
up, we're all on the
landing.
landing.
It's a landing and then a series of doors within the landing.
Okay.
Okay.
We check the other doors before we attempt whatever might be locked inside this room, just to make sure that nothing will come up and attack us from the rear. I'm gonna use the washroom before we keep going now.
We'll go ahead.
Okay.
Tiny
Get a second here.
So this isn't like the water temple where we use one key in the wrong place and the gate
Well-
is bricked.
I
No,
will.
it is not like that.
Perfect.
I'll go down and I'll try the next door along.
The next door along on the same
Yep.
side.
Yeah, on the same side.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, for that one, a web-filled room contains a slender bed, a nightstand, rocking chair, an empty wardrobe, and a small iron stove.
Okay.
Can I look around for any cool stuff?
Sure, go make a perception check.
14?
You see some very kind of bare bones cooking utensils. You know, very tarnished pots and pans. Nothing of any real interest or value of any kind. It appears to be solely functional more than
Okay.
anything.
Okay. And nothing on the walls? No ornamentation?
No tapestries, no ornamentation, just a few hooks with some of the pots and pans hanging.
Okay.
Did I miss another room?
Just this one is boring.
Is boring.
Yeah. And then there's one with a big padlock on the door. That's it.
And this other room, is that locked as well?
Nope, that's the one room that is locked.
I'll
So
go across.
No, I'll go ahead because I have more hit points probably.
Likely you do.
Alrighty. So with your shield in place, stepping into that room there, that one is here. Dusty chamber is packed with old furniture, chairs, coat racks, standing mirrors, dress mannequins, and the like, all draped in dusty white sheets. Near another iron stove, underneath one of the sheets, is a large wooden trunk that you can just see a little bit poking out.
Oh boy, I have nothing for investigation. I'm gonna try anyway. I'm just gonna check the chest
Sure.
for
So
traps.
kind of lifting up the sheet just a little bit, go ahead and make an investigation check looking for traps.
Cocked. 18.
18. You're fairly confident this isn't trapped.
Okay.
You're good. You start to lift the sheet off a little bit, and it is just a large wooden chest. Unlocked. You'd be able to open it if you'd
Okay,
like.
I'm gonna open it.
Okay. Opening it up, you see it contains skeletal human remains.
Nice.
Yep.
What have I walked
Wrapped
into?
in a tattered
We open
bed
this
sheet,
one? We're
Okay.
in here right
stained with long dried blood.
Okay.
And the blood appears to have actually soaked through the bottom of the chest and actually into and potentially through the floor. And kind of realizing this is actually right over where the baby's crib was.
The size of the
How-
remains or the...
Yeah, real quick.
They appear to be human remains.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Sure. Can I do one as well?
Yeah, of course. You are a doctor.
That's
He's got a natural 20. I guess.
that's 26.
Oh!
26.
Yeah.
Yeah. DC 14 medicine check to verify this was a woman, probably a young woman, judging by the size of the bones and the and things like that. Stabbed to death by multiple knife wounds.
So I just went CSI on this shit.
Basically, you looked at it, you pulled it off. Body has been dead for 724 years.
That's the glasses on.
Series of knife wounds.
Anything else of note in the
A
room?
cold case.
Nothing else of real note. It appears to just be kind of a storage room, maybe old furniture that's just being unused and covered by sheets now.
Okay. So I'm gonna call back to everybody and be like, "Hey, one's dead here."
Is it another nursery?
So yeah, more
It's a
specifically,
nurse. That's right.
Actually, looking around the room, can I actually get you to also make a perception check for me?
Yes.
Both of you, actually, because you're both in the room.
3.
15.
I know.
15? Okay. You kind of looking around the room, trying to eye up anything that might be of any value. You looking for just anything in general, especially with the interest that you've had with all the carvings down below and the clear absence of those in this room. You do find that one of the panels on one of the walls, it's a stone panel, does appear to be a little discolored slightly. and you're not entirely sure why, but...
Hey guys, I think we got another one of those doors or something up here.
What was that?
Let's crack it open.
Yeah, but should we come into the room?
Open sesame. I'll join them.
Yeah.
Kind of holler out and say, hey guys, we've got a little party going on here.
That's your hollering voice?
Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. I gotta work on my stage voice.
Just gotta open your diaphragm.
Project.
Oh.
It's kind of tricky to project like this.
Really appreciate everyone helping me through this. I've got a very low charisma.
So let's, I don't know, let's take a look at this discoloration.
Yeah. So going up to it and kind of putting your hand on against it, you press in slightly, and the panel just vanishes in, and then you just hear as the whole wall actually moves aside and kind of rotates around to reveal a spiral staircase going down.
That's where we want to go.
So let's check out
Do we want to open the door with the padlock before we go down?
I mean, I
So you
Yeah,
have,
I
Yeah,
you have a padlock
yeah,
door
yeah.
and one other
And
unlocked
another
door.
room.
So
Check those first.
Yeah.
Check
Okay.
those first.
yeah,
Okay, which one would you like to do?
let's do the regular one and then we'll padlock.
agreed.
All go as a group.
Let's.
Probably wise.
Is there anything else in this room
Tomato
worth of,
or
like, noticing any armor or...
You've been
anything
looking
else?
around in this room especially. It's furniture covered with sheets. Nothing,
Okay.
nothing of any real note or value. Excuse me. Alrighty, so the unlocked room at the bottom. Dust-choked room contains a slender bed, a nightstand, a small iron stove again, but this one has a writing desk with a stool, an empty wardrobe, and a rocking chair. And there's a smiling doll in a yellow lace dress sitting in the northern window box, cobwebs draping it like a wedding veil.
Anything seem off about this doll?
Make a insight check? Yeah, anything off with the doll, make an insight
Can
check.
I make an insight check as well?
Sure.
I'd like to look over the desk and the writing utensils.
So there actually are no
9.
writing utensils.
Okay, just the desk.
It's just the desk.
9.
It's something that you
9.
would write on, but a clear absence of any
Okay,
utensils.
okay.
Sorry, 9 for insight.
9 and 7.
And 7? Creepy ass doll.
Okay.
Yeah. It's what it isn't similar to is the one that you saw the woman clutching.
That's
in
what I
her
was
hands.
curious about.
Yeah, it is not similar to that. This appears to be more of a homemade, well-loved, not like a less of a doll that you would buy from someone, and more that one would be made by a parent for a child or an aunt for a nephew.
And you said that there was a dress there as well?
It's wearing a yellow lace dress.
The doll is wearing
The
the
doll
dress.
is wearing
Okay.
a yellow lace dress, and it's got cobwebs that are kind of like creating a fake veil.
Does this look natural, these cobwebs?
Appear to be pretty natural. It would be they're a little heavily saturated, but maybe it's just because the doll is one of the only things to latch on to.
Okay.
But yeah,
You said there's a nightstand. Is there a drawer?
nightstand, no drawer,
Okay. Any drawers in the room?
no drawers in the room, just the empty desk. That's
Yeah.
Elith is already taking a look at.
Yeah.
So, that other room.
Alright.
All right. We know creepy dolls in
Do you
here.
want to try key, or do you want me to just
I'll give you the
this
key.
lock?
I'll give you the key to try maybe, because if there's anything that's suspicious about the lock while you're trying to open it, you'll be the one to notice and perceive that. I wouldn't really.
Can I make a stealth check?
You certainly can. How would you like to stealth?
You can't ask.
Just like slowly backing away as everyone's very interested in this padlock.
Okay. You kind of pull off into a corner. Go ahead and make your stealth
Just
check.
like
You are at disadvantage because of the armor that you have.
Are you trying to
That's
go
right.
into this
He
room?
is absolutely trying to do that.
You can't get past a hallway of people.
we will see if that happens.
Make a stealth check with disadvantage.
19.
Disadvantage. You
Roll
roll
again.
again and take the lower.
Fuck, that's right.
20.
I'm just very happy that that was a 19.
It's okay. This is the issue that Keg has.
20.
Yes.
Natural 20.
Keg.
20.
You're Keg, bro. So
Like
what's
clink.
your stealth? Stealth of 4. So clink, 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 clink.
Hey man, where you going?
Clink, clink, clink. You just notice that that Les seems to be backing away from the door. Some of you guess probably in fear. Others just because.
Fear.
Less.
Hey man.
You're not. Don't go anywhere.
It's okay.
Just wait.
Yeah,
I
think
am
we're going
God.
this door
Don't worry,
Wait,
friend.
what?
Nothing to be afraid of.
I'm
So
not
looking at
afraid,
the
and I
lock-
put up my shoulder like armor and put it over the wound that I had. I'm not afraid. I don't know what you're talking about.
Go make an
So
investigation.
Elise has
Yeah.
given me the
I'll stand there
key.
with her.
Okay.
I'll
Like-
look. I'll take a look for
I'm
traps.
just, I
first.
don't know.
Investigation check.
You just go into that room, because, I was in that room before, and I'm just gonna, hang out here.
10.
10. Doesn't appear to be trapped. It's a pretty standard iron padlock. The key does appear to be the right size for it.
Okay. I will try the key in the lock.
Fits, unlocks.
Okay.
Padlock isn't now undone.
Okay, I'm gonna undo the padlock, and then I'm going to get someone else to open the door.
Okay.
I'll
Oh, you
repocket the key.
Key is pocketed. Would you like to keep the lock as well?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're doing
Yeah,
The
these,
lock and key.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to be entering into the room? Or opening the door? I
I'll
should
open
say.
Hey,
the
Les.
Not hope
Les,
this
would
time.
you like to kick a door in?
Actually,
What?
maybe
What?
that'll work.
Kick,
What?
kick the door in.
What?
Do you want to kick a door in, Les?
What?
Do you want to do it, boy? Huh?
Yeah.
You want to? You
Yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead and make an athletics check.
So weird up.
So that's-
He
we
just
didn't- we
like,
didn't
there's a
kick
door?
in the
There's a
mirror.
door to kick?
That's,
As soon as you use
Door.
a ranged weapon.
18
Door.
plus, that's 18 plus 5.
That's a 23.
Wow.
Just kind of one boot.
The door is
just
off.
snaps off the hinge at the top and kind of careens off to the side. It is open, but you hit it so hard that you splintered the frame. The door is just kind of like broken on the bottom, scraping against the floor, and the top part is slammed into the wall. On the
I
other
got
side.
very enthusiastic.
Now, the room contains a bricked up window, flanked by 2 dusty wood framed beds sized for children. Closer to the door
Children in the attic. I
is
knew
a
it.
toy chest with windmills painted on its sides and a dollhouse that appears to be, from the outside, a perfect replica of the dreary edifice in which you stand. The furnishings are draped in cobwebs. Lying in the middle of the floor are 2 small skeletons wearing tattered but familiar clothing. The smaller of the 2 cradles a stuffed doll that you also recognize.
The doll the ghost was holding.
So I'm in the room
It's
first.
the doll that
In the other room?
the kid was
Oh,
holding
yeah, the kid.
inside.
Okay.
So I'm in the room first.
The little boy.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the room first.
So I notice all this.
You notice all
Skeletons
this.
holding a doll.
You, 2 skeletons on the ground, like as if they had just fallen asleep and never woken up, kind of crawled against the ground and had slowly rotted away over time.
Well, they were locked in here, so perhaps they starved.
But having been in this environment for some time and getting over this impulse versus, thinking things through battle I constantly have in my brain, and still feeling the wound in my right pectoral fish boob.
Okay.
All right.
I see this and say, Doctor,
Yes, hello.
I think you need to examine something.
Time for a house call.
You're awesome. Alright. And I'm gonna put him in front of me to examine these skeletons.
Yeah, I want to see what killed these kids.
Okay. Go ahead and make a medicine check for me.
Ooh. 19.
Oh, jeez.
So, looking down at the bodies, the bones...
Oh, I'm sorry, 20.
20. The bones are dry. Like, have been here for a very long time. It's difficult to determine cause of death, but given the age of the children, given the location in the room, lack of blood anywhere, you would guess it was probably starvation.
Okay.
Yeah. As you're looking over the bodies, you actually see the clothes just move slightly, and then 2 spectral versions of the kids rise up out of the bones. And the boy still clutching his doll, a spectral doll, and the older girl kind of holding on to her brother's little hand.
Hello, little friends.
The boy was older downstairs.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
okay. I was like,
Sorry.
whoa!
Sorry. The boy, the taller one, and then the girl
They're
stuffed
dead
in
anyway.
holding the doll.
How'd you guys get upstairs?
Hello, friends. It's me, your friend, the doctor from before.
What do they say?
They just kind of stare at you.
Good to see you.
The
Do you
doctor.
want to see your human friend? Allura, get in here.
And they just kind of nod slightly.
What?
Allura, it's your friends, the children. They like you a lot.
Does
Okay.
Laura come in?
Sure.
So you step into the room, and they both just kind of look at you, and it's like it's weird. It's like they almost just don't have eyelids. Like their eyes are just kind of there.
Oh my
Just
god, like the
staring.
meme videos?
Yes, like the meme videos.
But the eyelids just kind of, or the eyes just kind of stare at you, and they just kind of slowly shuffle over towards you.
Do they shuffle aggressively or?
Slowly, the little girl is cradling the doll, and the boy is kind of pulling her along. And they just kind of.
They didn't attack me.
They might not mean harm, but doesn't mean they can't do harm.
Yeah, is the spectral, the last one that attacked me and Les, it was black. Is the spectre? I hear. Through the door.
Hello.
Aye.
Are they the same kind of spectres as before?
The one on the floor below. These ones don't appear aggressive, at least not currently. They just look sad. Like
Can I
like
ask?
kids.
Yeah. Can I ask them if we can help them?
Can you stay with us?
Ruh-roh.
No, we can't stay. We can let you go. Are you trapped here?
We don't want to go. We don't want to be alone anymore.
That's not happening.
Where are your parents, children?
They said they were going to take care of the monster in the basement. And
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
they kept us safe, and they locked us in here, but they never came back.
Oh, there was no monster.
What if we find your parents and reunite you with them? Then you wouldn't be alone.
But you're here. You can just stay and keep us company. Our parents were always mean to us.
Yeah.
They never let us do the things we wanted. They never let us leave. And then they always spent all their time in the basement. And then we're so scared of this monster, and they just told us all these stories, and we never understood why they went down there. We don't want to be alone anymore.
How do we get into the
And they
basement? young
shuffle
friends?
over a little bit closer to you.
Can you tell us about the monster, the stories your parents told you?
They just said it was necessary. They didn't tell us a lot of things. They just would always go, and then they'd come back and then just unlock the door and give us our food and lock it again. And the only time we were allowed to come out was when their friends came over.
What kind of friends? Can you describe the friends? I'm also going to stand up and take a step back.
And they kind of see that and kind of like wide-eyed a little bit and like shuffle a little closer over to you. Their friends, well, they didn't look like you. They always wore black and red,
They sound cool.
and they had long cloaks.
Do you remember the name Priests of Osibus?
No, maybe. And they kind of look at each other a little bit, and then just be like, I think I remember hearing my dad say something about the cult, and that they were going to set us free. I don't remember.
Just
Well-
to be clear,
Oh boy.
were you raised in a nursery?
When we were babies, I probably, but not for many years. That was our little brother Walter. He was the one who was in the nursery.
Walter.
Wait, where's Walter?
I don't know. He was in the nursery. This really nice lady kept taking care of him, and my father. Well, our father, he really liked her. He always said how nice she was, and he
Sure,
let
she was
her
real
stay
nice.
around and and take care of the baby.
What was her name?
Hold on. I turn over to the doctor. Hello. And say, does any of this look familiar to you?
A lot of it sounds familiar, friend.
And then
Play your cards close to your chest.
And then I go over to Allura. Does this seem weird to you?
This whole house is weird.
Well, I see a lot of weird
And the
things.
kids are now like having you turned away. They've like come over and are like tugging on your shirt a little bit.
You have plans.
Well, we need to go and deal with the monster in the basement.
No, you're gonna stay here. We can't be alone anymore.
We need to go and deal with the monster in the basement.
No, you can't leave.
I take my trident and slash at them.
Oh boy.
And with that, having one of them grabbed onto you,
It's your fault.
I'm impulsive.
Don't blame me. It's in my character sheet.
It says right here where it says
slashes at children.
Are you chaotic by any means?
I need you to make
Lawful good,
I need
but
you
not
to make-
against demon people.
Actually, I need you to make a charisma saving throw as you as well, please.
Uh-oh.
It was good to have
when
yours.
I turned 9, it was another good party.
Oh, fuck.
Is anything going on in there?
I've backed out of the
Is it a 1?
Yeah.
11?
Oh!
And my charisma's -1.
No!
Is that a 0?
Fuck.
We've got cure wounds twice, so you're fine.
No, that's the weird one that Hope has. Where
Okay.
But that was a constitution check.
So
This is charisma.
We've got safeguards.
you see, in your case, the little girl as the one that's kind of tugging at your arm, and the little boy is the one who was kind of looking at you first, and then like looked over at you, and then you just see the visage of him fade and the visage of her fade right as you swing your.
yes.
You impact your trident against the ground. There is nothing there any longer.
Yeah.
You two. I need Amanda to come into the other room with me first.
Oh, yes! Yes,
Haley.
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
God.
Actually, wait. Just come over here, because I can't really
Oh,
stand
should
up
we
because I
dip?
can't.
Okay.
Is
do
that,
this.
yeah, should we all
Oh,
dip?
I can't look at this.
Should you what?
Should we all dip if this is going to be on?
No.
Okay.
It'll be okay. Yeah, it's fine. So you
I
can just
can't look.
you can just
Can I?
you can read this.
I'm gonna take
we
the mic
You're
and
being
put it
possessed by
towards
Here.
Leaf.
So, Leave. Tell me more about when you were 9.
So
Oh my god.
that is the big
That's
thing.
pretty
Is that
mellow.
you retain everything.
Just lived in
You're
the
so loud.
forest.
How's everyone's
No, okay, sorry.
Granny.
I thought you were talking.
Pretty cool.
Les, I was
Okay.
going to suggest we
Okay.
take the children
Okay,
with
and
us
I
again,
didn't
but
read the
They
one
are
on the
bad. I hate
Oh,
bad
sorry, I
things.
had those the wrong way
We
around.
could give the child the
I had
doll.
them the wrong way around.
That's not
That's
it?
the doctor's opinion.
I think that time is gone, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder
I
than
think we've got to
words.
hope that
Okay.
Allura and Alif
The
are
other one was
okay.
gonna be easier for me.
Otherwise,
I
we're going
learned-
to.
I learned from a writer.
You've been
Actions speak louder than
Routine,
words,
your
so
own
I take that
yourself.
in every
Yours.
action I do
Mhm.
to make them
As
louder
your primary
than when people are speaking.
So do we do
Yeah.
we know still everything that's like?
You know what's happening. You saw
Okay,
the
and
kids
we know, like,
disappear,
our-
and you immediately just have that is your one and only mode.
Okay.
Is that's what you
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay.
So the rest of the room, all of you see the two kids disappear, and suddenly Allura just kind of like squats down really low, and then Alif kind of just stands up a little bit higher almost, and just kind of puts her hand over on Allura's shoulder, and then just kind of like has a bit of a stony gaze at the rest of you.
Well,
Oh
So
no.
you guys ready to go?
I'd say when we're gonna go, let's get down to the basement.
I'm gonna like pull out my like hand crossbow.
Okay.
Wait, so they both have stony eyes,
No, she has stony eyes,
and she wants to go to the basement.
and she wants to go to the basement, and she just looks terrified.
well, I guess we're going to the basement.
Let's go.
I don't want to go to the basement though.
Rose,
You'll be okay. Just come with us.
are you Rose?
I almost said Alith. I'm Allura.
What's going on, Allura? You seem different.
It's just really scary in
Come
here.
under your hair.
Really,
Will I
I'm
have
really
recognized
terrified.
anything that's going on here based on, like, magic and warlocky stuff?
Make an. It's not you know what? Yeah, make an Arcana check.
Okay.
It's an ability. Actually, as a cleric, you can make one as well.
19.
Just
For you, it would be more of a religion check.
Oh, okay.
So
and just as a time check for everyone, it's
it's
20
9:40.
to 10.
we're gonna have a perfect stopping
I'm like
point
a
here.
13, so.
13. Okay. It appears to be some kind of effect. Like they've definitely changed.
Yeah.
The kids were slashed at and disappeared, and within a few seconds, you notice the traits that the kids had kind of passed on to your two companions. You're not entirely sure what that means, but something appears to have changed with them internally.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to hang back and let them take the lead.
Okay.
We're going down to the basement. Everyone can follow me. And I just like lead the way.
And I'm going to
Towards
lean
the
over
room.
to Leaf as they're out of earshot and just be like, the thing that the DM said about cool. Thanks.
I feel.
I'm also going to lean over to Hope and do the same.
Alright. I'm gonna get out my sword and shield just to be prepared.
I'm gonna go stand right by Hope.
Okay.
They look really strong and will protect me.
Okay. Good to know. So, making your way
You're ready.
I look
out of the
slightly
room
Yeah.
to
suspicious.
the secret door to the winding staircase down.
I'm very determined to get down there, but I'm still gonna be
So you
checking
detected
and
it there.
perceiving what's going on around to like make sure it's safe.
You're still yourself.
Yeah, okay.
Alright,
So-
so we are all prepared to kill them.
A narrow spiral staircase made of creaky wood is contained within a 5-foot wide shaft of mortared stone that starts in the attic and descends deep through the center of the house. Thick cobwebs fill the shaft and reduce visibility in the staircase to just under 5 feet, basically right in front of you. As you descend, you realize that this goes much deeper than to just the first floor of the house, and suddenly the stone walls become laden with moisture and dirt. The wooden spiral staircase eventually ends with a narrow tunnel stretching out before branching left and right. Taking your last few steps down, you start to hear a kind of incessant chant echoing around the walls. You especially immediately down on your hands and knees and just like fetal position, crouching kind of thing.
So exactly what I'm doing.
Can I use my dark vision to see ahead?
Seeing ahead, you see the big map.
Oh!
And this is going to be pretty much where we wrap things up for tonight. Because
Next
there is
session.
so much. So we're going to go ahead and use one of these cameras to denote
Oh,
this.
heck yes.
But for
I'll
next
be
session,
cameraman.
because nobody's going to remember any of this,
It's true.
this is your guys'
Whoa.
basement. Coming down the spiral staircase here,
Whoa!
and then a
We're here?
staircase. You were there. That's where you
Okay.
come out of the spiral staircase.
Right, and then
And
there's
then-
figurines there.
Directly in front of you guys, branching off to the left and to the right, are your two ways that you can go. And that's going to be where we pick things up next week.
yeah.
Although to break character, I am at a concert next week.
Right. So in 2 weeks,
Yes.
we'll be coming back.
Oh
But
dang.
we're gonna put out there that maybe we could do a weekend thing.
Yeah, so we
for
might-
an 8-hour sesh and have foods and
'Cause
sodas
yeah.
and stuff.
This is a big dungeon.
7-Up.
There is another map.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is a good start of it, and this is going to be where we pick things up next week.
Wow.
In the basement of quote unquote the Death House.
We're never gonna see Irina again.
How much time has passed since we've been in the house?
Since you guys have been in the house, not that much.
Does
Probably
time move differently in the house?
no. Well, this is the thing is you don't know, but just from your gauging of what time is, the fact that you guys haven't taken a break of any kind, you've been looking around the rooms, but you know it's 5 minutes here, 3 minutes there. It's probably been 2.5, 3 hours, but you know you can't go outside. Like,
Yeah, the mist
what are
is
you
there.
gonna do, right? Like, this is the only option, is figure out whatever is causing the mist to be there and find a way to get rid of it. So, this is where we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. We love all of you guys, all 700 of you who watched last time. Yeah, we got into a pretty decent number.
Really?
So, yeah.
Heck yes.
And yeah, this has been episode 3 of our Dicecream Sandwich Curse of Strahd campaign, and we're gonna be going on to level 3 pretty soon for you guys.
Yes, finally I can get my fucking martial goddamn fighter ability
So excited for
unlocked.
that pack.
So
Wow.
we'll be able to do
That
that.
was
Hopefully, as
And
long
level
as
3 is when I become like.
yeah.
That was a.
As long as everybody makes it out of the dungeon, you guys are going to be level 3.
Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
There are legitimate possibilities. that
Yay,
might
Jordy!
not.
Yay!
Thank you so much for sticking with me. It was a solid 3-hour session, everybody, or 2.5, and I look forward to 2 weeks from now. I get to continue this one. I hope the kids were creepy enough.
I sure were.
Alrighty, thanks you guys so much for watching, and
Well,
maybe next week.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
TBC.
Okay, yeah,
TBA.
so